Alright. I'm good.
Alright.
Everybody else is good and going?
I am live.
Awesome. Wonderful. I'm gonna get you all to start by rolling a d20. All of you.
Oh, that's never
Oh
good.
boy.
That's off to a lovely start.
Oh, nice. 19.
I don't know if a high roll is good or bad. The background music suddenly got very dramatic.
It did. All of a sudden, all I did was mention that you guys had to do a roll for this. This is actually just gonna help me choose which order you guys are gonna have your dreams in. Because as we left off last time, you guys had all just fallen asleep after being ambushed by bandits in the middle of the night. And, along with this first roll, you all finally slept peacefully. You all got to rest, and you're all feeling really invigorated, like you've learned a lot of life lessons. However, as you all drifted off to sleep, you are all visited in the middle of the night. And I'd like each one of you now to make a religion roll.
Six.
Okay. 6. Let's see. 6. Jeez, we already got 2 20s already. Things are looking good for people.
Unless we're using them all up.
That could be the case.
Oh, goody, I got a 9.
Insight check. On
Not
the DM.
Ooh, that one.
Wait, what are we rolling? I missed
Oh, no,
it.
you got it.
Religion.
Religion.
Ooh.
Getting my ones out of the way early, apparently.
Hey, you know what? If you actually get a critical one, like an actual rolled one, you can use your lucky trait.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Dang it. So I got a 1, but I can't even change it.
Why?
Aw.
All right. So we are going to be starting with Azizi. As you drift off to sleep, you were visited in the night by a woman in a black gown adorned with stars and moon symbols. And she says to you, after looking at you, the one who tries to bring balance, how would you like to have true control over the balance of night and day, life and death, the star and the moons? And we're going to move on to the next person. And that would be Ash. Ash, in your dream this evening, you were visited by the visage of a very angry ogre. They looked at you and said, "Do you want the power to take vengeance on those who wronged you?" We're going to move to the next one. The next one being Gloria. Or sorry, Lori. My bad. I don't know why I said Gloria. Your dream, you see yourself on a stage, surrounded by those adoring fans. Everybody's having an amazing time in drunken revelry. And suddenly you were approached by just a man in a simple cloak. He says, "Would you like to continue the event? Would you like to keep the party going?" As he reaches out a hand to you. Next will be Ember. Where is Ember's? Oh man, you guys all did really bad on religion, by the way.
Yeah.
You were approached as you dreamt of a field. You're hunting late at night in the light of the moon. You were approached by a man. At least you think it's a man. He's wearing a headdress of a great stag. And he says, "Would you like to keep the hunt going? Would you like to hunt the most dangerous of preys?" Soot. In your dream, you were visited by the visage of a great dragon who stares at you and says, "Of those who are forlorn, those who are downtrodden and filthy, the unclean, would you like to rise up to be the taskmaster?" And since Russ has yet to wake up from this, we'll just wait for him. So, the next morning, you all awaken, and what do?
The woman who approached me and has given me her offer, Azizi turns scoffs slightly and says, I don't know who you are. So at this point, I don't know whether to trust you or not. And until you tell me why I should take this offer, I'm saying no.
All right. Everybody else, as you've woken up, you're about to get on your day. You all feel invigorated and strong, although confused by your dreams. How would you like to proceed?
Are the bodies still there?
The bodies are still there. You did rummage through them and extract everything that you could from them.
These are
Whether you
starting to smell.
They might be starting to smell. They've now been sitting there.
Be
Yes,
worth
Russ
it
did
to
extract all the
incinerate.
blood from one.
Would it be worth it to incinerate the bodies?
That's your
Maybe.
call. They're just bandits.
Hey, don't look at me.
You're
Well,
no
you
longer-
are a
you're no
resident
longer
fire
weak to
starter.
fire.
Yeah, our weakness is worn off, thankfully.
Hey, Kyushi. Oh, and Shanto, hi. My voice is
Stream
lower.
buddies.
Alright, let me just turn me up. How's that? Is that a bit better?
I just turned on your stream. The music is louder than you.
Oh, is it? That's weird. Let me just turn up my voice in Discord then. I usually have it set a lot lower.
For those in the future listening to this, there are just slight technical difficulties.
Yeah.
It's a new
Please
party.
hold.
It's bound to happen.
Also, our characters just woke up, so they're not moving too quickly right now.
5 more minutes.
As Zizi just looks over at
I'm a night owl.
although feeling a little ruffled by the dream, Azizi feels much more tip-top after hearing Lori sing first thing in the morning. Kind of looks at the rest of the party and goes, anyone else have a weird dream last night?
There was a dragon.
I saw a very angry orc. I don't know why he was angry.
I don't know. The dragon said something about responsibility, and I just kind of tuned them out, to be honest.
Who wants
Yeah.
responsibility? It's gross.
The orc said something about being able to do something about something. I don't know.
That's about right.
Mine was a slight variation of a very common dream of mine, so sometimes you just gotta shake it off, shake it off.
Azizi
kind
does a
of
little
muttered-
shake to shake out the dirt from her fur. Just does a little shake.
Sit mutters about it being too early for this and wanders over to the water to wash her face. Or attempt to.
Oh, you do wash.
Yeah?
Hurry.
Don't you
And
love
the
the
dirt on her face just kind of just turns to mud and just stays there.
Thought the the dust was part of the aesthetic. It was not meant to be an insult.
Why would
My
it be an
apologies.
insult? And there's nothing wrong with dirt. Dirt's all around us.
But dirt's dirty.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Is it not?
It's the soul of the earth, the soil of the earth.
I'm imagining Ember took like some materials and made a little podium so that he wasn't sleeping directly on the ground.
And that podium's probably a
the,
little bit
the ground
torched by
beneath
now.
the ground underneath Ember has been purified by the divine radiant heat.
Ash just in a tree.
Take it Russ is as far away from you as possible.
Is Russ still asleep?
Azizi's just gonna kind of slowly crawl over to Russ while not wanting to wake him at the same time. She's like, just pokes at him. You Russ? No? Probably still full from his snack last night.
I'm not carrying him.
Ember's
Well,
gonna
and-
move to the end of the dock and just sit down and start meditating, but he's periodically picking at the bowstring tattoo on his forearm.
Went down to the river to pray.
Oh, thank you, Shanto, for the follow. Much appreciated. Hopefully, I'm a
Thank
little
you
bit
as
louder
well.
now. Let's see if I
God
can
has a
change-
voice again.
Yes, I do. I muted myself. I'll let you guys talk. At
Yeah.
this point, when you've poked Russ, you kind of notice that he tosses and turns. He gives a little grumble. He seems to be very much so still stuck in his dreams. You don't know if he'll be waking up anytime soon, but you hope that he will be, because he's starting to get quite a tan laying in the sun.
Maybe we should drag him under the trees a bit more.
Alright.
He really
Who's
sleeps like
helping
the
me?
dead.
Ash just peeking down from the branch.
That grabs
gotta
one arm and very unsuccessfully attempts to pull Russ under the tree.
I will.
I don't know, we might have to roll for it.
Oh,
No, I'm gonna say if you guys all try to work together, the four of you can probably move him.
We'll just
Ash
get him
is
to
just
like...
watching from the tree.
Sam-
one tall person could have done this, Ember.
Samuel just like lands next to Russ's feet and tries to help drag by a shoelace.
Aww.
Oh.
Thank you, Samuel. You're such a good birdie.
You're more helpful than your owner.
I heard that.
All I can think is, Ember, you might have the one with the fire, but you just got burned.
Oh no, is he weak to fire again?
No, not again. Although I should pull that page up. I forgot to pull that page up.
Uh-oh.
That's cool. So learned a spell very specifically for this situation. I'm very excited to use it.
Nice. Ember just is like, okay, I've heard enough of this, and he walks over, scoops up Russ, and carries them into the shade, and then goes back to meditating.
Yes, you can.
Oh, we went north. That works.
Drag
Yeah, I
him over the
wasn't-
coals of
I
the
wasn't
fire.
sure.
Drag
No,
him
the
over
fire's long
fire.
out.
Yeah, we'll just throw him under here. Let's just say he is under in the shack with the fish guts now.
No, we got rid of those, remember?
I know you got rid of those, but it doesn't change the fact that it still smells like fish.
Ember just
Well,
throws him
yeah,
down
this
and is
is
like, come
wild.
on, look alive, man.
You could say it smells like smelt under there.
Lovely.
Yes.
Just
never
the
mind.
venue I wanted.
Yes.
Oh.
So, I suppose we should probably continue our little walk. But it looks like this path comes to an actual end. Do we have to cross the river?
I'm gonna say that you just don't really notice that there is a path that continues up past the back of the little shack here. You're not far from town, but I'd say it's probably at least an hour's walk, and if it hadn't been so dark the previous night, you would have seen that, past the tree line, you can actually see the town.
Now, is that
And I'm-
town? Do we know that town is the city of Balmora, or is it another town along the way?
It is the city of Balmora. It's actually quite a large city. I'm actually going to pull you all over to the map for it.
I was gonna say, I'm guessing we'll have to take turns
I'm-
heaving Russ if we're continuing our walk.
He's a lot lighter than he looks. Let's just say that.
I'll carry him.
All in
Did
lanky.
he turn into a bat or something that we can just shove in one of Soot's many pockets?
I don't think you can force him to change into a bat against his will.
Hmm.
Although that would be a nice little trick to learn. Let me just
Looking through all my spells just in case.
Looks at my wild surges.
there might be something that allows you to do that. Who knows? So what I'm gonna say is, you all should see the map now of the city. It is laid out in front of you now.
It's so cute.
Yep, it's actually quite a fairly big city compared to some of the other regional areas. I'm going to say that you are approaching it from the south side of the city.
I was gonna say, do we,
Through this,
or
like,
are you gonna
path here?
place us where we should be?
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to say that here. You guys are basically coming along this path, coming up the river. You can see where there's the two bridges at the south. This is a city that is kind of nestled nicely in between a valley. As you can tell, anywhere where there's these stairs is where it goes up town. So the main gate right here of where you'll be approaching, where I'm giving the big purple circle.
These tiles are so small.
Well, it's a big city. Apparently, Zizi just wants to run ahead of everybody.
I didn't know where we are. You just said where we were approaching.
Yes. As I said,
Gotta
you're
walk our characters along.
You're more than welcome to. As you get to the wall that divides the city, as you can tell from the river running through it, there's a wall on the north and south sides of this city. All these dang hydrates. And as you approach, you just see a simple guard.
Hydrate?
Drown the sea. Dang it, Sierra!
No, let the DM.
Don't. D doesn't stand for drown.
Exactly.
So as you approach the gate, you do see a guard here. He's dressed in armor like you've never seen before. It's kind of yellow. It looks almost like it's made out of something natural. Almost like a rock or a clay. You can't quite tell.
I would hope the guard is made of something natural.
Well, the guard is made of something. His armor, however,
Ah.
which covers his entire body, head to toe.
Ember, Warforged do exist, you know.
They do exist.
Say what?
Warforged.
They're basically robots.
Oh.
They prefer the term living automatons.
Uh-huh.
Says the guy who plays-
Animatronics.
Can I roll an
Well-
investigation check on
course you
the
can.
dude?
Yeah, of course. What are you looking for?
Just trying to figure out what the heck he is. Why is he yellow?
Why is he yellow? It's just the
Yeah.
look of his armor. You can actually see underneath his armor, there's some parts that poke out. You can see his hands are a dark blue color. He appears to be some kind of darker elf.
Okay.
And he just looks at you as you approach the gate, and he sees people coming and going at all times. He just looks at you and says, "Oi, you haven't been traveling all night, have you? I hear there's bandits in the woods south of here."
Yeah, we found them.
You don't
Oh.
say.
They found us.
Well, I'm glad to see that you all made it nicely. Welcome to Balmora, a city where you can find anything you need.
Thank you, sir.
Now, don't go causing any trouble because we have guards everywhere. This house is still under the protection of House Hlalu.
Now, of course, Azizi does have her mask on and her hood up, but she is just gonna look at the guard and go, "Now, don't get me the wrong way, but define trouble. Every city has its rules, after all."
Oh, your basic things. No assaulting people in the streets. However, duels are still considered legal, so if somebody challenges you and you both agree, that is between you. The guards will not intervene. However, if you go around attacking people, the guards will deal out justice. And there's only 3 ways to get away from justice in this land. Either spend your time in prison, spend your coin to stay out of jail, or spend your life if you wish to gamble it. Among that, obvious things, no stealing, no threats. Try to keep all magic in the city to a minimum. We don't want anybody getting hurt by a rogue fireball or anything.
Azizi's just
Might
gonna
be
glance
worse
over
with
at the other
issues.
magic users like, "No, I don't think you'll find us to be any trouble, sir."
Well then, enjoy your stay. If you're looking for anything in particular, there's always the corner clubs. They always have a good source of information.
So, what exactly were we told to do when we get here? Soot's asking the others because she was not paying any attention.
What did the guard say was the house that it's under protection of?
Hlalu, I'll throw it up in the chat so you can see it.
Okay.
And Randy, can you check your DMs real quick?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
DM, check your DMs.
DM checking his DMs.
DM it.
DM it.
Check yourself.
Yeah, sure. I can pull that onto the map for you. No problem. Just give me 1 second.
Thank you.
I was gonna say we've lost the short ones.
Yeah,
We're
no.
just assuming
We're easy to
Russ
look
is
over.
on.
We're
I'm
gonna
assuming Russ
assume
is on Ember's shoulder.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. At that point, the guard does look at you and kind of go, "That one all right? He looks like a little bit more worn out than the rest of you."
He's just a really heavy sleeper.
Yeah, he had a midnight snack and is sleeping it off.
Yeah.
Well, if you need to put him up for the night, as I said, we have the corner clubs. We also have taverns in which you can stay for the cost. Of course, north of the city, we have the temple just outside the city walls.
Azizi's ears kind of perk up. Which temple would that be, dear?
Oh, it's the temple to the ancestors of the Hlalu family.
The who?
The house that governs the city.
Do I have to do a history check on knowing what that is?
Here's the spelling.
Insight check. Can I buy a vowel?
Basically,
It's a mouthful.
yes. Yes, it is. It's one of the great elven houses.
HLAALU.
Yes.
Interesting. Elven house. Okay.
Yes, they are one of the 3 houses that govern this entire land, unless you consider the Empire. And he sort of just
No
kind
one
of
should ever
grimaces.
consider the Empire.
As you can tell, this is still a very heavily elf inhabited and run city. All of the business owners probably are some form of elf or another, high elf, drow.
We all stick out like a sore thumb.
Oh, as I said, it's a big city. There's a lot of things, and there is a slight influence of the Empire, along with the guards dressed in very distinct yellow armor. You also occasionally see an imperial-looking fellow dressed in a leather cuirass with bits of metal on it. Kind of looks like a Roman centurion-style armor, but you don't see them all that often. You just see 1 or 2 here and there.
So do we know if the yellow armor is under the symbol of the Empire or of the house Hallelu?
It is under the house Halu.
Halu.
Halu, yeah.
It's a very Canadian house. It's hallelujah.
Yes, it is.
I was about to start singing that.
I was gonna say the armor has a distinct scent of maple syrup to it.
Azizi's
So
gonna
we're in
look
a
to the rest.
sticky situation.
It's why they have so many A's in the name. You know, A.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
Now, if you want any sort of directions, he is willing to give you some very basic directions on which buildings to attend to. As you can see up on the left side of the map, this house is outlined in kind of a darker tan. Those ones are the richer neighborhood. Then you have the market district, which is directly upon entering the gate, this big open area here. And then you have just the residential areas facing the river. And then you have the slums on the far right-hand side of the city.
Azizi, being a little bit tired from the walk, I don't exactly know how long the walk was, but just sits down with the others and is looking at Soot like, I don't remember where we were supposed to go either. Dang it.
Do we still have the papers? Well, I know Ember kind of torched his, But do the rest of us have our commission papers that they gave
Ooh.
us when we left the ship?
According to in-game chat, yes.
Yep.
I want to. So what? Do we roll to
No,
read it, or we just read it?
I will gladly reread it to you. It might be a little bit paraphrased because I don't know where my note from that is.
That's fine, as long as we get the gist of it.
Yep. Upon release, you read the paper, and it says, upon release from the prison on the island of Vardenfeld, you shall be tasked with meeting with the counselor in Sedanin, and then from there shall go to the city of Balmora, where you will contact Cassius Curio. And then there's a long spiel about if you avoid this or if you go rogue, you will be found, arrested, and or executed.
Azizi's going to turn back towards the guard and go, is there... do you happen to know where... how do you pronounce that? Cassio?
Cassius?
Curio.
Cassius Curio.
Cassius Curio. Do you know where we could find that person by any chance?
The guard just... Sorry, I don't keep track of everybody in town. Maybe ask somebody at one of the shops might know who he is. Who knows?
Huh?
His
It
duty is
immediately goes
primarily-
past him into the
Yep,
gate.
You're more than welcome
Like,
to
well-
immediately go past him.
Good sir.
Well, nonetheless, we appreciate the warm welcome. Maybe we'll see you later.
Make sure to stay out of trouble.
Sir,
Yes,
is there a tea shop anywhere in town?
a tea shop. It's a good question. We have alchemists. We have houses of... Yeah, I would say we'd probably have a tea house. It would probably be somewhere in the upper district. It seems like a more refined drink. Check in one of the corner clubs in the higher districts.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
And I just walk past him, leaving a very warm breeze in my wake.
Yes. Altwill carrying a very sleepy scarecrow-esque person.
Yes.
So now you're in the main part of the town. Where would you like to go?
Do we put Russ somewhere to sleep, or like, do we think this place is safe to leave him alone?
I mean... it depends. Does one of us want to hang out with him until he wakes up? Because he'd probably be very disoriented if we left him by himself somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't
think
mind.
At least one should stay with him.
Yeah.
I
We
don't
could
mind
ta-
hanging out with him.
We could take him into one of the clubs and let him sit at some table, and we'll have someone sit with him and ask around and see if we can get some more information.
Yeah. You do remember the guard mentioning there are several inns that people can stay at. I'm gonna just say he mentioned 3 distinct ones. The Flop House, that is on the eastern side of the city, which would be roughly in this area. There's a more refined sort of place for people to stay. It's still kind of tavernish, but they do have private rooms.
So are we
Tell
just gonna weekend at Bernie's Russ around this whole session?
No, probably not the whole one. I am keeping an eye on the Discord as well.
Okay.
So this inn tavern on the east side, the Flop House, do we know if it's going to be expensive? Because I don't think we have a whole lot.
They usually charge after the fact.
I mean, we can also find him a really nice tree. Just sit him down
There
under
are
a
some
tree.
very nice trees around the town, you can see.
They don't charge for trees. I don't think.
Soot
No,
has a point.
I don't think they would charge you for trees if you want to tree him. That's fine, but I will make you roll a survival.
Sounds like
survival.
treason.
Why does it?
I
We're not
think
putting him
that
in
might
a
be
tree.
little-
We're just putting him under the tree.
That might still be a
Under
little
the tree.
disorienting. When
Well,
he
like I
wakes up.
said, I don't mind sitting with him.
We
It
could
would.
tell
It might
everyone.
give me a chance to
We could
take
tell
my mask
everyone.
off as well and just cool off a bit.
We could tell everyone he has a hangover and just hang him over a branch.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, that's something that can be done. Still gonna make you roll for survival on that one to make sure that you don't put him in the wrong kind of tree.
Oh, jeez. What kind of trees are in this city?
Actually, you did marvel as you walked up to the city. You started to notice that the trees went from being lush and green trees and almost like, I'd say, swampy sort of stuff you'd see in Florida to, you swear you saw a giant mushroom.
Where was this mushroom?
The giant mushroom? It was just slightly off the map.
Well, what was the point in telling us if we're nowhere near it now?
Oh yeah, no, you sort of noticed the giant mushroom, but it just seemed a little odd. You're in a brand new land. You don't quite know all the flora and fauna.
Don't tell me Cassius is in another castle.
Oh no. I will mention though that the flop house that was mentioned is free, but that's also because it's just a bunch of mattresses on the floor of a big building.
Whatever. We slept on the
Mm.
ground yesterday. What do we care?
There's just a dragonborn on a random roof going, peaches, 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 peaches.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but we could try the flop house, at least to start. If we don't get much info there, we can move on to the next place.
Yeah, that would be on this side of the city.
Good with that.
As we're walking through probably the market to get there, what kind of stuff are we seeing?
You see quite a lot. It appears to be like sort of a bazaar. There's flea markets. There's people trying to sell things. Pots, pans, dishes, jars of unidentified liquid that they swear is the absolute finest you'll find. Simple things like food, fruit, bread. Stuff that someone describes as scrib jerky. You're not too sure what it is, but it looks more like a gel than a jerky. Fresh kwama eggs. Not sure what those are, but they are about the size of, probably a size of your head, Soot, but they do look like eggs, although a little soft and squishy.
Is there any place I can find a tea shop? I can find, like, selling a teapot.
Selling a teapot?
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah,
a
you
kettle?
can definitely find that. You can definitely find someplace selling housewares. There appears to be a shop that is just labeled housewares. It has things out front like baskets, rolls of fabric, simple stuff like that.
Not sure you're coming, dear.
Whoops.
Just left the bird behind.
That's fine.
Bird got distracted by a shiny.
That's fair. There is a lot of shiny things. There's people saying, selling simple weapons, just, people out and about in front of their stores trying to just get people that are walking by. There appears to be a lot of foot traffic going back and forth.
Are there any kind of, like, shady characters around?
Shady characters?
Like, that's kind of in the market for a good pair of lockpicks.
You see a couple people that are kind of just standing around, eyeballing a couple of the lesser attentive shopkeepers.
Okay.
And you kind of notice one or two of them just kind of lean over and just swipe something off of the guys without him noticing. I'm going to say that these guys are kind of just around this area near the alleyway, sitting out front of next to one of the shop entrances, just sort of looking like they're casing the joint.
That looks at the others. Do you guys want to split up? I think we'll cover a lot more ground that way. Find this
I mean,
Cassio
sure,
guy sooner.
if you'd like.
Yeah, okay with
I'll
that.
head over towards the fool's place. What was it for the fool house?
The flop
Flophouse?
house.
Flop house. I don't know why I thought it was fool.
House full of fools.
It could be. It could very well be. Yep, that's going to be across the river. And by the way, those little things are footpaths across the river.
I was gonna say the thing next to Lori. I'm assuming that's like a walkway between the buildings.
Yes, as you can see, this little dark area between these sets of buildings is actually a little bit of a shady alleyway. This is actually where Soot has noticed that those guys who have stolen that item from the shopkeep just kind of darted down into these alleyways. It basically looks like the place you really wouldn't want to be in the middle of the night.
I mean, it's early morning,
oh yeah,
isn't it?
it's early
That's-
morning right now.
Perfectly
Gonna
fine to pass.
follow them because that
there's
is the smart
guards-
thing to do.
There's guards walking around. There's, the guards aren't paying much attention to these guys who've just stolen stuff.
That's not sus. Also, DM, out of character question for you in the chat.
Oh, about the rock?
Yes.
That depends. Soot, have you told anybody about the rock you have?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Dropping that then.
You will notice, though, and I will say this, that it appears that the person that was the shopkeep that was stolen from appears to look kind of like an overgrown tabby cat, just a lot thinner.
Wait, like their face is exposed?
Yep. But you also notice that the guards may have seen them get stolen from and are doing nothing about it.
Well,
As
that's not
easy as-
okay.
Noticing this, Azizi growls a little under her breath. Racist
Um,
little shit.
I'm gonna go up to the shopkeeper,
Okay, which one? Just
The-
any housekeepers? Or
the one
house-
that was stolen from.
Okay.
Me
I
too,
s-
and I'm gonna take my mask off as I approach.
As
Hi.
you approach, he notices that he looks up and sees the same eyes and face and whiskers and just kind of stands up a little bit straighter. And he says, "Welcome to Jazargos. How can I help you?"
Just Zargos.
Hello,
I'll write that
dear.
down.
We've just arrived in the city. We're new here. I was wondering, maybe you could help us find someone in particular?
Yes, I have information. What do you need? I can help you.
We're looking for someone named Cassius Curio.
The drug addict?
Is-
I know. I recognize the name. He's an addict. He spends his days just sitting in his home next to the flop house, just buying drugs from all of the people there.
Don't get me wrong, we weren't sure what the kind of person is. We're just going to meet them for the first time ourselves, but that insight is helpful.
He tries to. You don't want to meet him. All he does is, as I said, he sits inside all his day. He tries to sell me all of his belongings or belongings he acquired, just so that he can buy more drugs off the lesser reputable salesmen in the city.
Azizi, having seen that the shopkeep was stolen from not too long ago, kind of folds her ears down and asks him, "Sir, those gentlemen that came by from you earlier, were they friends of his?"
And he sort of looks over at them. He's which gentleman? He looks a little nervous as you mentioned that he had been stolen from.
Azizi will go down to a whisper and say, "It's okay. I don't know why they would have done that to you. But maybe if they're friends of his, we can do something about them. Are they causing you trouble regularly?"
And he, you know what? I need a persuasion check.
Before she does that, I'm
Yeah.
gonna sneak up right behind her and barely audible. Rising up, back on the street. Did her time, took her chances. Went the distance, now she's back on her feet. Just a cat and her will to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor stalks her prey in the night. And she's watching us all with the eye of the tiger.
All right, that you know what? I will definitely allow you to roll with advantage on this.
Did we see the people stealing the place? Like robbing the place?
You got to be kidding me.
He does feel a little bit little bit more friendly. And yes, you would have all just seen, because he sort of just reached around the corners, took something off of one of the displays he has out front of his shop. He does seem to own this. Jazargo does seem to own a shop. It's not the best looking building in the market that you can see, but it is certainly a building. And it is his name on the sign. And with that persuasion, because you are another member of another tabaxi, I will actually say he pulls just you in a little closer, and he just whispers in your ear, it's better that they take from me now than they come in the middle of the night. I don't like to mess with them. They belong to an organization. And that's, as long as they take only small things, it's okay. And then he just sort of goes back to trying to see if you want to buy anything else from him.
What do you have to sell, my dear?
Oh, we've got food, we've got housewares, you need pots, pans, baskets, fabric. You look like you're new in town. Do you need something for your friend who appears to be asleep over there?
Oh.
And he just genuinely offers like a whole bunch of different housewares, candles, torches, that sort of thing. And yes, he does have a fine collection of like earthenware, pots, cups, plates, that sort of thing. He may have a teapot if you are looking for one.
Can I sort of figure out what the cost of what was stolen was?
Oh, it basically just appeared to be a couple of food items. It no more than probably like 1 or 2 gold at most.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for a tea kettle.
A tea kettle.
Yeah.
So he starts. Hold on one second. I think I have something perfect for you. So he just kind of like goes into the shop, and he kind of just, you hear some rummaging around from in there, and it sounds like the place is completely disorganized inside. And he comes out and he's like, you need teapots? I have teapot. And he brings out like 4 teapots at once. Different sizes. Some look really tall and slender, kind of made out of like a pewter. But then some look clay, handmade even. And he's like, well, what would you need?
Which one is best for traveling? Because I feel like we're going to be on the road a lot.
For traveling? And he holds this metal-looking thing. It kind of looks like a cross between a tarnished silver or just a dull metal. And this one, very, very cheap price. For you, I'll give a great price. 50 silver.
Does it come with cups
My
and
goodness.
things like that to serve with?
He kind of mulls over. He's like, you're going to be getting this today?
That's the plan.
And he counts the amount of people that are with you, and he's okay. And he goes and grabs 6 small little tin cups.
And how much for all of that?
I'll do same price, 50 silver.
50 silver. I'm just gonna hand him a gold piece.
And his eyes light up quite graciously. He's like, I'll get you your change. Just 1 second.
No, keep it. Keep the change.
At that point, you see his ears kind of fold down, and he's just, well, thank you. Thank you for your business. And he's like, is there anything else that I can get for you today?
What sort of food do you have, dear?
And he goes in. He's got fresh produce. He's got, a couple fish from the river. He's just got breads of various sizes and loaves. And he also has a couple jars. He's like, we have selections of liquors. We have Cyrodiilic brandy. We have Shen. And he just sort of names alcohols you've never heard of before. And he names off about 3 or 4 types. And he's given you a rough gauge of the prices of these.
Is there one that's popular?
Popular.
In these? Yes.
That he looks and he's like, I have one special bottle, and he goes in and he's like, it's very hard to keep in stock, and he holds this up, and it's a very nice decanter looking bottle. It has Cyrodiilic brandy, straight from the Empire's own sources. very hard to get in this city. The guards at the fort nearby tend to buy it. I guess they miss home.
I don't
And-
see
and
why
how
they would miss
much-
home.
How much is this?
And he kind of like looks around, sees no guards, sees no people. Well, normally it would be 25 gold. For you, since you are so nice, and you at this point I can do 5 gold.
That's so kind of you.
That is extremely generous. Yeah, I think I'll take it for the 5 gold.
All right.
Am I
Hey.
right to assume that my tea kettle came with enough to make some tea? Or do I need to buy ingredients too?
I'll say that he gave you some tea bags, but no tea leaves.
Okay, that works.
If we grab some fruit and stuff, Ember, we could home make you some.
Yeah, and you do see
You're
a
right.
selection of basic fruit. You see things like oranges, apples, the very simple things. He's like, oh, this is very fresh, just picked from the forest south of here. And he comments that all the fish that he has were caught and fresh and brought to him as well. And all the breads were baked in-house himself.
These are lovely, dear. You do the baking yourself, you said.
Yes, he goes on to say he spends a lot of the night awake, just baking for the next days.
I imagine with those other fellas around, you probably stay up at night a lot, huh?
And he just sort of side glances. He's, well, he doesn't really feel comfortable answering. And he's just kind of looking around, looking to the shadows around him.
Aziz's ears will kind of go up in a happy gesture and go, "That's all right, dear. I don't mean to pry. I was just curious."
Ember is kind of following his eyes, looking around into the shadows, seeing if I notice anything.
Sure. I'm gonna need a perception.
Perception check is somewhere +4.
As a curious cat, I
19.
may do the same thing.
19?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you definitely notice. You notice when you look into the shadows that there's quite a bunch of groups of people. I'd say early, like young adult looking. Some look like teens. They're just sort of like looking at his shop. They're also looking around at all the other vendors in the market and just sort of like nudging each other, poking, not really stepping out of the shadows. But they definitely have that look of when you pass a group and you're like, they're up to something. You can definitely tell that this group of people, they're up to something, and they appear to be organized. I'd say maybe about 3 to 5 people total.
Okay. When we witnessed the theft originally, I didn't get a chance to say it, but I wanted to send Samuel up to just sort of passively track the path the thief takes back to wherever he's headed.
Oh,
Oh,
just
no,
following
he
them right
hasn't-
now.
He hasn't gone anywhere. He is still standing in that alley, just looking at what he stole, talking with his friends like it was no big deal. He's eating the bread that he took, and just like he just took it with no concern in the world.
While they were talking with the shopkeeper, Soot had, instead of following them to the shopkeep, had gone after the thieves and just kind of was following from a distance and trying to decide how best to approach them.
All right.
Are there a lot of...
They notice you right away.
Azizi is going to
Okay.
look around and go, "Wait, where did Soot go? Guys, has anyone seen Soot?"
She did
The-
mention splitting up.
You mean the
She-
walking dirt?
Oh no.
that
Yes,
approaches
Ember.
the...
She's
Hot
she's
Boy.
probably looking for more rats to add to her collection.
Did anyone go with her?
No. I didn't know she had left.
Azizi's going to
I
quickly
haven't
turn to the
seen
shopkeep and go,
Ash.
"Excuse me, dear. I'm going to go find where our friend went.
Sure.
Thank you very much for your time so far."
And we are going to pan over to Soot. Soot, you have followed these people, and
I'm
they
just
didn't
gonna
go
go
far.
with Azizi.
So they, after they noticed her and realized she was noticed, she approaches them. Hi. Good afternoon. Do any of you fellas know where I could find some less than legal purchases? Like, all the stuff in the marketplace is good and all, but I need something a little different.
They're gonna look at you a little bit sideways, like noticing how small you are, and just kind of roll a persuasion. For a 9. They're gonna say, "Are you kidding me? You're just a child." And they're just gonna kind of scoff at you and just sort of just go back to chatting amongst themselves. And they're just gonna kind of like look over their shoulders. Can you believe that one trying to pretend to be a thief?
It's gonna look them up and down and see if like what state well what do they have on them?
Oh, that they look like, you know, your average group of people. They don't really look good. They're wearing common clothes. They've got a little like pouches, bags with like possibly their money in it. They also, some of them you see have like little dagger tucked into their belt. Nothing major. They are all wearing slightly darker clothing than you'd imagine. But for the most part, they all kind of just they have that average look of them. They're just
Good.
one is just standing talking, the other one's just kind of sitting, leaning up against a wall.
Maybe this will jog your memory. And Soot pulls out 1 gold coin and just kind of flips it between her fingers. Does this help?
They're gonna take notice of that and look at you and say, "Huh."
I know how things work back here.
Where would someone like you get something like that? Aren't you a little young to have that big of an allowance?
Well, let's just say it wasn't mine. It's easy to get these sort of things when no one notices you.
And they're gonna be like, "All right, want to come with us? We can help you find what you're looking for."
Can I roll a insight check to see if they are being sus?
Yeah, of course. Feel free.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's going splendidly.
This is going splendidly. Let me just double check something real quick.
In the distance, hopefully, Soot hears Azizi just calling, Soot! Soot, where did you go, dear?
Ash is flying above, trying to get an overview.
All right, for that roll, I'm gonna just say that, yeah, nothing seems wrong about these guys. You actually think they're gonna take you exactly where you need to go, and they're just gonna lead you down the alleyway to, I'm gonna say, this building here. I've just pinged it on the map, where you see this staircase. So it's basically down the alleyway, but slightly across the street. And you're gonna notice a sign out front. It's just gonna say, "A Candle in the Darkness Corner Club." But you're not gonna go in the main entrance. You do notice on the side that there are some stairs, and these stairs seem to go down. And they're gonna lead you down into the basement. And we're gonna pan back to everybody else for a quick second. What is everybody else doing?
Well, Ash and I are still trying to find Soot. Since Ash is flying up above, trying to get a sky view, I'm just running down the main street here, calling out Soot's name. Soot! Where did you go, dear? Where are you?
Roll investigation.
I'm so sorry.
I knew that was coming.
Take 4d10 necrotic damage.
You know what? You would still be under the effects from Bardic Inspiration. So
They were decent rolls.
I will give you the 21 for this. You catch scent of soot, mostly because the dirt kind of tickles your nose. But as you can see, it leads you to the same building, a Candle in the Darkness Corner Club. But the sign on the door out front says closed until evening. And you follow the scent right up to the door, and you just notice that it stops at the top of the stairs. But what you notice is a little bit strange. Not only does soot scent stop, all scents seem to stop. At the second you take that step down that first step. And when you get to the bottom, you realize the door there is locked. You can't hear anything past it. It's eerie how silent and sort of anonymous everything seems to have gotten in this basement area.
Can I investigate the door?
Of course.
I'm looking for... I don't have detect magic.
No, but if you want to roll Arcana, you can. If you want to just investigate it physically, it'll be just a straight investigation.
I'll try Arcana and see if that does anything.
Okay. I'll still give you the advantage for this. With a 14, you notice that there is something magical at play here. It seems to be blocking your senses. Whether it's your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, they seem muffled. Like something is completely shrouding them. And unfortunately, you can't see much past that.
Mm-hmm.
And Ash, for that 16 that you rolled for investigation, I'm going to just say that you've been following along with the ZZ, and you may have spotted the exact same thing. You saw Soot walk into an alleyway, and then as soon as you saw Soot enter this alleyway, they disappeared. You didn't see them enter the building, and you didn't see them go down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they just disappeared. Kind of like a
Damn it.
mirage on a summer day.
Damn it.
And
Ash,
we're
what do
gonna
we
go
do?
back to Soot. Oh, if you anything else you wanted to do before we go back over to Soot?
Well, I mean, we're not investigating quietly. I want to at least turn to Ash and go, oh, great, now what do we do?
I don't know.
Should we go back and get the others?
I'm assuming we've
Safety in
been
numbers?
wrapping up our purchases while
Yep, you guys
this is
have,
unfolding.
he's wrapped your tea kettle in way too much wrapping paper. He's been just trying to convince you, Lori, that you want to buy this beautiful roll of silk for no other reason than he just is trying to sell it to you. He seems a lot more relaxed now that in general. Just So if with that, Soot,
Before
yeah.
we leave the shop, Ember is going to find a quiet little corner somewhere, like on a post or something, and sort of half burn, half carve into the post the symbol of Artemis.
Sure. I'm gonna say that you're
Oh, sure.
actually gonna do. I'm gonna say you're gonna do it right here, over where this tree is, just off the side of the market. It's got some.
I was going to do it into the shop.
Yeah, if you want to do it into the shop. You notice the shop, however, appears to be made out of sort of a grayish clay or concrete. It all appears to be one homogeneous stone,
Okay.
like a hard plaster.
Could I do it into like a bush or something out front? Just some kind of symbol saying this place is good to any other followers.
Of course. Actually, roll insight.
Ooh, fun. That's not a D20. Give me just a second. Had a D12 in my hand.
Yeah, don't want to roll a d12.
16 plus 6 is 22.
22? Sure. What you're going to notice is on the wooden frame around this door, you are going to notice that there are other symbols that have been faintly carved there. One appears to be a triangle in a circle, and one appears to just be a row of 3 lines with a diagonal line across it. It's very faint, almost indistinguishable. from the
Would
woodwork.
I know what either of those mean?
Do you speak thieves' cant?
I do not.
Nope.
Unfortunately,
Oh.
they just look like random symbols to you then.
Okay. Can I, as I'm carving, I'm just gonna lay my hand over those and like slowly burn them away
Yep,
as I
you're more
carve
than
in
welcome
my
to.
symbol.
Yep. Perfect. Alright. Now I'm going to pull over to Soot. Soot, you've entered this basement. Very willing. These guys seem to... They kind of have a good feeling for you. They kind of know what you're about and what you're looking for. And as you enter this basement, it appears to just be a bunch of people sitting around at various tables. Some sitting at counting stacks of money, some just talking and sort of laughing to each other. There doesn't appear to be any windows. And despite the heavy smoke in the air, you can't seem to smell anything. Also, when you look at everyone around you, you can't even hear them for some reason. You see their lips moving as if they're talking. But you're led up to this one person sitting alone in a big booth, surrounded by drinks, surrounded by stacks of just money sitting around. And the first guy looks at you and says, and looks at the fellow sitting at the table and says, "Hey, boss, I think we might have a new recruit here."
So it kind of looks the person up and down. I'm here looking for supplies and information. We'll talk about recruiting and stuff after that, but I'm new in town, and all those guards up there, I mean, we all know who's really running the show, right? So I thought I'd come
Just kind of
see.
looks at you and laughs a little. He's like, "Yeah." He nods. He's listening to you. He's giving you his full attention.
So, where could one get a good set of lockpicks?
Lockpicks? Oh, lockpicks are nothing. You need lockpicks? We'll get you lockpicks. No problem. However, nobody steals in this town without permission from the guild.
And how does one go about getting permission from the guild?
He just looks around at everybody. He's like, "Where do you think you're standing?" And at this point, you sort of just, everybody else has sort of stopped moving and is looking at you, kind of expecting, not really sure what they're looking for. And the guy kind of says, "Come here, sit with me. We'll talk a little bit."
Soot sits down.
And he just sort of he's like, "We don't see many halflings in this town." And he just pushes a drink towards you. Care for a drink?
I'm gonna roll investigation.
Of course.
Oh dear.
This drink smells amazing. You're not sure what's in it, but it smells like something like the sweetest of honeys, but also with a nice little bit of bitterness to it. Just enough so that it cuts the bitter honey taste, or the sweet honey taste, just enough. But you drink it, and you don't feel anything, you don't feel anything wrong. You just feel a little bit, nice little warm glow goes through you.
Soot takes a couple small sips, more to appear like she's not disrespecting this very clearly important person than because she actually wants to take a drink.
And he pours himself a glass from the exact same. You have noticed he did pour a glass from the same jar that he pours yours from, and he just chugs it back like it. He's like, "Do you like that? It's 300 gold a bottle. Do you know how much we get that for?"
Well,
And
the
she kind
bet
of looks at
a
you
nice
with
price.
a bit of a smile. "Oh, it's free. It's free. Anybody who wants to make sure that nothing happens to their shops, obviously."
Soot kind of nods along, and then leans forward. So, I'm actually here looking for someone.
All right.
Have you heard the name? Let me find the dude's name. Sorry. Have you heard of the name Cassius Curio?
Cassius Curio? Yeah, we know who he is. He lives over in the slums. I think he says he's an author. Not really sure. He keeps to himself. He just kind of goes back and forth between the flop house and... Occasionally we see him talking to the guards. We assume he gets arrested, winds up at the fort, has to walk back to town. From all we know, he doesn't owe us money. He keeps to himself. Why? Does he owe you something?
You could say that. I'm kind of here because of him. Then.
At this
So-
point, I've noticed that Russ has started to stir, so we're actually gonna pull over to Russ as he's waking up. However, before
On
Present
Ember's
time.
shoulder.
on Ember's shoulder. However, Russ, before you wake up, you've been having a very distinct dream, almost disturbing. Roll religion for me.
You got me without my sheet up. Ah! I'm just gonna go over to this, and I'm gonna scroll. This one.
Man, everybody rolled terribly on religion.
Don't tell them that I have a really big plus in religion too. Don't tell them.
We can see it in the
It's
roll.
on.
It is. It's right next to
Dang
the
it!
religion. So,
How is it twice as mine?
warlocks.
I don't know.
True.
So, in this dream, you seem to be in an inky ocean, a black void. You suddenly feel a tentacle wrap around your leg and pull you deeper into this cold, inky black ocean. And you see pages flying around you in all directions. And you see a single eye open up in front of you. And this eye says to you in a voice that feels like it rattles inside of your own mind, "Do you seek knowledge? Do you seek the answers to the riddles unanswerable? Do you seek the knowledge unlearnable? To answer the questions unanswerable?" And then you wake up on Ember's back. You feel a slight
gosh.
bit tan because you've been walked through the sun for quite a fair bit.
And resting on a fire gymnast's shoulder.
Yes,
And
you guys are now in the city.
Goodness.
You've been talking to a couple shopkeepers. Soot has wandered down in an alleyway just to catch you up on things,
Of course.
and they appear to be in a basement, surrounded by what I can only think to describe as you don't know.
So Russ kind of wakes up on Ember's shoulder, and he kind of wakes up with a start and a little bit of a snarl, looking around like, "Wait, where am I? Wait, why am I over someone's shoulder?" So he's just kind of freaking out a little bit until he figures out what's going on.
It's very warm. You do feel very warm being held up by by Ember on his shoulder.
And once he realizes it's Ember, he just kind of goes, "Ember,
Oh,
Can
you're
you-
awake.
Can you put me down, please? This is
Um,
put down floor, on floor, please."
Yeah. Down you go. Down. I put you
I'm
down.
just
Okay.
watching the two of them
I'm-
kind of snickering.
I'm gonna need from Ember an athletics, and from Russ, I'm gonna need acrobatics.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Gotta go low. Rolling my hand this time.
We'll do the red one. Why not?
I got a one!
Ember,
got a
if you drop him on me.
That's a 4 plus 4, so 8.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
no, you actually do drop Russ quite hard. And you know
He's-
what? Since you are in close proximity to Lori, I'm gonna need a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
Going horribly wrong.
I mean, Russ did just
entertaining in
wake
the
up
mob
and
basement.
start.
Okay,
Ooh.
all right, Lori, you actually gracefully dodge. Russ, however, you land flat on your ass and take 2 bludgeoning damage.
So he just kind of lands with a loud and,
Thud.
along with maybe a little bit of a swear after under his breath. He's just
Don't worry,
He's-
you're gonna
just
get
kind
up.
of grumbling.
You're gonna just kind of dust yourself off. You
Oh.
got a little bit of a bruise on you, but you're gonna be okay.
Oh,
so he gets
sorry,
up and
Russ.
dusts himself off and just going, and he's just grumbling under his breath, probably in other languages.
Ember's just like shaking his arm, like his arms, like his shoulders, just falling asleep under the weight.
Well,
But he's gotten used to
you have
it.
been carrying them for quite some time, so you know what? That does make sense. You may have been carrying them for long enough period of time that you kind of your back went numb.
Sorry, Russ.
And he just kind of looks at Ember. He's like, "Fine, fine. It's not your fault. It's not your fault." Why was I
Gravity.
asleep
Am I
for so
right?
long?
This
I
is
don't
the
like
real
gravity.
gravity of the situation.
I don't
So,
like gravity.
it's easy.
I don't think
Ash,
gravity likes me.
you guys have been separated from Ember and Lori a little bit, but you've heard a thump and a bit of cussing. But you're still standing in front of this basement door, trying to figure it out.
Ash, dear, since you can fly, would you run back and grab the others? I'll stand out here in case anything happens, or if Soot comes out.
Can do.
All right.
So Zizi's just gonna plant her feet and
Ash is
keep
gonna
an
fly
eye
back
on the
to the
building
others.
that's...
All right. So while Ash is flying back to the others, we're gonna come back to Soot. At this point, the gentleman at the table is just laughing, and he's regaling you with exploits of everything that him and his men have done, all the heists that they've pulled, all of the just. He's just genuinely trying to entice you into maybe joining up, maybe giving you a shot. He's offered you these tools, no charge, a full set of thieves' tools. And he
This
doesn't.
is lovely. This is lovely, but forgive me. We know how this works. What do you want for this?
What do I
Because
want?
you're not just gonna give me these for free and give me information for free.
I like that. You're down to business. He's just kind of gonna give you a look and say, "There's something we need." Now, at this point, he points at a map and says, "I'm sure you've heard of the house that represents the city, right?"
House. I'm gonna butcher this. Halu? House
That's
Halu.
right. Yep. Well, they think that because they have the protection of their house name, their protection of the empire, they don't have to pay for us for protection from from any accidents happening. And you know what? 300 gold a bottle? It's kind of an expensive drink, don't you think? And I like being someone who owns the only versions of things. And they kind of interrupted my shipment recently. I'd like to interrupt it back here. If that makes sense, and if I can't have it, neither should they.
So, ideally, you would want to be the sole owner through whatever means possible.
I think you know what I'm saying.
Sorry, I'm just writing down notes.
That's fine. He actually he kind of says, you know, they're not too far from here either. He just sort of gestures towards like the back. From what you can remember, this would be roughly upstairs and out back, you know, up on the hill. So, think it over.
I
But-
will, because as nice as all as the information you've provided me is, and the set of tools that you'll be providing me, this is quite the chat. This is quite the risk. I think we both know that.
Well, if he seemed my boys seem to think you were worth my attention, so I just want to see if you can prove that.
And how far? Tell me a bit more about this guild. How far does your reach go?
Well, that's just it. We're as far as we need to be. We have people in every city. If you know what to look for and where to look.
And if if I assist you with this, I'll be welcome in other guild locations.
Of course. As long-
Okay.
If you speak our language,
Okay, I
we'll always
will.
welcome you.
I will think it over. Thank you
Alright.
so much for your time. This
Of
has
course.
been very illuminating.
My boys will see you out. And as they take you to the door, nothing happens. But you do notice that once you leave the threshold of the door, I'm gonna need a wisdom saving throw. You do remember what you spoke about, but for some reason it's like a bit of a fog, like everybody's face in there. You can't remember a single face. Now that you think about it, you don't even remember anyone's name. You remember the task that you have to do. And you remember the conversation. But the harder you think about it, the more your head just fogs up the image of this person's face in your mind. But in your pocket, you feel these tools. In your stomach, you feel the nice, warm, honeyed liquor. And at the top of the stairs, you see Azizi, just sitting there waiting for you. And apparently we have not an Oni.
Ghost fart.
That was actually kind of
I
what my
won!
down.
That was actually perfect timing on that, by the way.
I know, right? That was well done.
Azizi's ears are going to prick up as they see Soot probably stumbling coming out of what seems to be nothing, and rushes over to them. Soot, dear, where have you been? We've been looking all over for you.
Oh, here and there. Let's move away. Let's go find the others. And
Sure,
Soot
come
kind
on,
of-
follow me, dear. You seem a bit... Are you drunk?
I'll add a sip. It's just very clearly like
I mean,
very low alcohol tolerance.
I suppose with your size, it might not be hard to get drunk. Here, I'll carry you. Let's go. Azizi's going to
Pleasantries.
just gingerly pick up Soot, not caring about the dust and whatnot, and say, "All right, let's go back to the others."
And Soot remembers what the guy said about where Cassius Curio is. Yeah.
Yes, he did. He actually pointed out that he's in this house right over here. This having been the flop house, and he's just right here in this house, diagonal from it. This is just a bit of a storehouse. This thing in between is just quite literally a shed or a storehouse.
So Soot's gonna stay quiet until they are farther away from the building, conscious of the fact that there's probably still eyes on them. Well,
As they
There
get
they
closer to the group, they're just going to hear Ember going. So anyway, that's the story of how I accidentally turned the pool of Artemis into a bunch of grape Kool-Aid.
Love it.
There you are. I'm gonna gingerly put Soot down, maybe keep my hands out in case they wobble a bit, and look at the others. Oh, yes, you're awake. How was your sleep?
Russ just turns and looks at Azizi like, fine, I think.
you're not
You're
dead.
Fine. And he just kind of running the back of his head a little bit because he's still he's mulling over what he dreamed about.
And
I've said-
he is a little dazed. There was a minor accident, during the waking.
Oh dear. Ember, did you get hot again?
And Russ just kind of.
I am always hot, thank you. But no, I accidentally dropped him. He's really heavy.
Not up! I'm not that heavy.
Is he heavy, or are you just weak, dear? Azizi kind of pokes at him teasingly.
My eyes just flash red, and then I grin. I'm not.
I'm not. And Russ just kind of grumbles under his breath. I'm not fat.
No, not in the slightest, dear. Although you certainly could outdrink one if it was a blood competition. That's a
He just kinda
compliment, by
looks
the
at
way.
her- He just kind of looks at her and he just grins, baring all of his teeth.
So, Soot, you were gone for a little bit. What happened? Where did you go?
Yeah, I found where our guy is.
Oh, wonderful.
Cornelius Cornelius Curio. He's,
mean, you
he's
are-
just on the other side of town.
Are you feeling quite all right? I mean, I believe we were looking for a Cassius Curio, not Cornelius.
Yes, that guy.
You-
That guy. I don't know. All these C names sound the same to me.
Cassius?
think-
Was that a stutter or a hiccup? Are you okay?
I'm not as suck as you drink I am.
Does
dear.
being drunk count as like a poison or a disease?
No.
No.
It does not.
No.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
But God forbid they have to make any saving throws anytime soon.
Because I'm like,
Apparently, I wasn't doing
if-
so good on those anyways, so
I
no
would be-
harm.
My D20 has betrayed me. Again.
What happened?
I have
got
momentarily lost access to the website. I have to restart my computer because the internet thing is doing a die. I'm getting
Aw.
stuck.
Aw.
Oh no.
Well,
Roll constitution check for your computer. Something like
so
that.
you said you know where our guy is.
Yes.
Are you-
He's just across town. You guys want to follow me?
Let's go.
Okay.
We will
And-
never
but
again
I'm
let you out
assuming-
of our sight. Yeah.
And I'm assuming because I'm assuming the guy like showed her on a map, and with her urchin background, that's pretty good at navigating even while drunk. So
Oh yeah, no, I'm sitting here thinking you're probably actually getting a little bit too ahead of them, because you just kind of, I know it's this way, and then you just sort of walk off, and then you look back and you realize that you just walked down an alleyway that probably most of them can't fit through.
I just think they're doing a really bad job of following the drunk person.
Exactly.
Meanwhile,
So, do
Russ
you
just kind
do you
of
know where
was
we're going?
And Russ just kind of asked, who's Cassius and why are we looking for them?
Remember, dear, it was the one we had to meet when we got to the city, as per the letter we got, anyway. Not that I think a lot of us want to meet them. Our probationary. We all did. We had a chance to read our letter over. DM, would you summarize it for Russ since they were absent?
Yep. Upon pending your release, you will have to attend to the counselor in the city of Sedanine, and then follow onward to Balmora to speak with Cassius Curio.
Okay. Yeah, Russ will probably
Alright.
just pull out the letter and just read it over again.
Yeah. The only
So
person
you-
I think who got rid of their letter with Ember.
Well, of
Yes.
course, for obvious reasons.
Well, it kind of burned.
Could
It's
you
not my
move Ash
fault
to keep up
fire
with us
paper
until they
is
return?
so-
So you said it was a little tricky for us to keep up. I think as the actual shortest of the party, I could fit down that alley.
Oh, and the entire time you've been fitting down the alley and commenting on how you have a much higher drinking.
well, obviously. I mean, I am
you've
usually
also
the star
taken-
of the show, so
Exactly. You've also taken note of several taverns and places along the way that you've noticed, including the Candle in the Darkness Corner Club. You only noticed that it's opening in the evening time. You didn't notice much else. But you have noticed that there appears to be some sort of dive bar that you've passed along the way.
girls
so
gotta
yes.
make a living somehow.
Oh, hey,
Alright.
they're a great place for information.
So
So
was
you're
I able
all-
to keep up with Soot? Did
Oh,
I
yeah.
see her go into this house, or?
She hasn't gone into the house just yet. You have come to the front door now. And I'm assuming that they're going to just wait there for everyone else. And I'm assuming you'd like to knock on the door.
I think we've got the wrong house. This sign says Cassius Cheerio.
Actually, all you notice about the front is that it appears to be a very kind of seedy neighborhood. Actually, I need a perception check from everyone.
Ooh, I like.
Do I have disadvantage?
I
Nope.
don't trust my stupid dice anymore. I'm using this.
Of course, now I get a good roll. Where was this earlier?
Hey, why?
Here, let me see if I can just go in and change something really quick for everybody to make this a bit easier on people.
Got a
pull this up.
6.
Pop that
You said perception, right?
Yes, I did.
Stupid
I
dice.
got a pop-up telling me to make if I wanted to make it like a normal or
Yes,
a advantage and
should
stuff.
be. Yep, that should be what everybody should be getting soon.
Dang it. Not bad.
Aha. Query advantage. There's that one. That one's done. So what did you get? Alright. Filmy, I was gonna say, Ember does not notice anything. You seem to be in just a regular neighborhood. Russ,
Okay.
everybody who got 15 or higher, you kind of notice that some of the windows are broken. This doesn't really look like the part of town that you'd really want to be in after dark. If you were in a car, I would say that you'd be rolling up the windows and locking the doors.
Ember's looking over his new tea set, probably.
Yeah.
There's this cup, but it needs a little bit of cleaning here, and this one's kind of bent sideways. I wonder if I can heat it and pull it back out straight.
Of course. Everything else just seems perfectly normal. So I'm gonna say, who's gonna knock at the door?
I guess Soot, since she got there first, will knock.
All right. Roll a d6. Wow. Okay.
Where were all these
Jeez.
rolls earlier?
You don't want that roll now.
I'm gonna say that you just walk right up to this door, and you just give it a, and the door peeks open a crack. He's like, this older fellow, kind of no shirt on, just, yes, who is it? And he just sort of peeks out, doesn't see anything when he looks forward and looks down.
Down here! Down here!
He notices you down there and goes, "What? No, I don't have anything for you. Leave me alone." And he goes to shut the door.
Soot tries to stick her foot in the door to block it from closing. Is your name
Unfortunately,
Cassius? Cheerios.
roll a performance.
Oh no.
Cheerios?
12.
Ooh.
He sort of stops. He's like, "Who's asking?"
Soot didn't think she was gonna get this far and immediately looks back to the others. Help! I didn't
Azizi
know
will
what to
step
do when we
forward
actually
and
found
say,
him.
Azizi will step forward up beside Soot and say, "Actually, we are. Do you happen to know where Cassius is?"
And he sort of looks at you. 1 second. My OBS just crashed.
Oh no.
I think your OBS might need a dose of "Where are you?"
And I'm so,
I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Oh, you guys.
You know, one of these
Oh,
days,
that's
if we all
right.
sing that, we're gonna get D inspiration, probably.
It's like I said earlier, 4d10
Disadvantage.
necrotic damage.
Yep. All right. So that's back up.
Your
and running.
OBS stole the war that I was having with my internet.
Apparently.
Alright.
We're just taking turns.
Video capture device.
We're just all getting scuffed. All getting a little bit scuffed, you know?
Apparently.
Who knew Alabama and Canada were that close together?
Oh my.
I blame Comcast.
We don't even have Comcast up here.
Count yourself
Be
lucky.
grateful. Be grateful.
Well, that's why my camera died. That's why.
Oh no!
Does anybody have
Oh,
any
well.
resurrection spells for the camera?
4 points of lay on hands to the camera.
Mending! Mending!
Mending, that'll do
that
it.
might
True.
help. Well, I'm going from being the DM. to
Where's
being a
Lucy when I
potato.
need her?
You're a potato now.
I am the heavenly potato for the time being.
You need a
The
halo
every
on
other
that
potato in the world.
I am every other potato in the world.
Trying to fix my D20 by rolling a whole bunch.
Yeah, we've been getting semi-mediocre rolls. Thank God we're not in combat right now.
I
There we
got a
go.
3,
Also,
Hilarious.
4.
I will give this moment if you guys
Okay.
want to take a quick break before he gets back to everything. I also have to fix my backdrop because I just realized that it like. Why is my camera so big?
Oh dear, I've been rolling too much. My cat's coming to investigate.
What in the world?
I will be right back.
And
Yep.
break time.
once Azizi gets back with her toast. All
I
right,
have a
I'll
problem though. I have
What's
a
that?
void staring at me.
start. Avoid the Noid. All right.
What do you want, my void? What do you want?
We should make your cat a tentacle headband.
Oh,
Oh
jeez.
gosh,
Yes.
she's rubbing against the boom. Help! Help!
Let's enunciate today.
Bam.
A little bit, yes.
Boom! Goodness! You know, I'm just gonna pull Skiz, and I'm just gonna say,
Chaos.
leave it.
Leave it.
Leave it.
Wait, what? Sarah, what are you doing? What? No!
What?
Wait, what?
Thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
I meant to do that the other day.
Hey.
Thank you. So appreciated.
Oh.
I know, it's almost like Sierra's awesome.
All right.
Sarah is very awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much for that, and you've technically started a hype train. Thank you.
No. What we need here is Sierra is stupendous. There you go. You're welcome.
Yes. Yes.
No
it's a hype-
comment.
Well,
Well, we have
thank
Gem is great, so now we have Sierra is stupendous. So there.
Hello, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Me.
you. Okay.
That's my favorite Vine of all time, I think.
Vine. I remember Vines back in the day. I remember when YouTube was not a thing.
I remember
Oh.
when YouTube barely had any videos on it. I remember a day before YouTube existed.
All right. So I
Forgot
have a
I
joke of
added
the day,
that,
though.
Sarah.
I have a hype train. Yes, please. Also, joke of the day. Airport security says the number of people smuggling helium balloons in their luggage is under control, but cases continue to rise. Aulette, thank you.
Thank you for the gifted sub. I got one of those.
Choo-choo!
Thank you. Also, there's a name Russ Rules.
What?
Yeah, there's one of the guest subs was somebody named Russ. So
That's too perfect.
Also, I think that made you hit your sub goal.
that actually, yeah, that already, I've already passed my sub goal that I had just changed like not that long
Nice.
ago. So thank you guys, it's much appreciated.
And now
So-
I've got a hype train.
Yay!
Oh, the hype train.
Film. Yes, I will time you out on that, Sierra.
Aulette,
Hey, I'm doing it every so often.
5 gifted subs.
Oh shoot! Fill me as well.
Well, thank you.
Y'all are awesome.
Yeah. This doesn't mean you're all getting inspiration, but you might have inspiration.
How about this? Will this give you inspiration? Yeah?
just
Oh,
as long.
Let's see. How about that? What about...
I've
I
already-
do
we
one
al-
of
we
these
already-
as well.
We already went over this earlier. The D in DM does not stand for drown me.
Yes, it does.
I only have so much water. You just want more bathroom breaks.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Do one of those
You
as
heard
well.
the man. You heard the man. He said, "Drown me." Drown him.
Do it! Hydrate! Hydrate! Hydrate!
Thank you.
Oh my
I
god.
got
stop.
10,000 points. I can do this all day.
Jeez. Hey, you don't want to waste all these points now. I might be putting some interesting new redeems up in the near future.
Please tell me one
Like
of them is
voice
I can make
impression.
you say,
See
where
ya.
are you?
No.
Sierra, thank you.
Dang it!
I got one more
Dang
thing. Where's it at?
Actually, where's the actual thing?
Come
There it
on,
is.
touch ID. Work. Work.
It says no. Anyway,
Anyway, so you've knocked at the door. He's answered the door and has just. He's very. Answered, yeah. Who's asking? What do you need me for? And he's
And-
still just peeking. He's no longer trying to shut the door. Although I would have said if he had shut the door, your foot would have been kind of small enough that the door would have still shut,
There we go.
Smushed foot.
Azizi
but your
will
foot would have gone under the door.
Azizi will retrieve the letter that everyone got and sort of show it to Cassius and say, "We were actually tasked with coming to see you. Are you not familiar with this sort of thing?"
He looks over the letter, looks at all of you. 6 of you, right?
Mhm.
And at that point,
Sierra! Stop it!
he pulls you all in.
Oh,
Behold, the real villain. Chairs.
You might have to
Dang.
resize your tokens once
Well.
you drop them on this one.
They are kinda big.
Dang! So on.
I haven't seen anyone today.
why is foot bigger than Azizi?
DM, what did you do?
How do I resize my character? I have no idea what I'm doing.
I will resize your characters as you need.
So I
Randy,
can't
could
do
I
it
get
myself.
an assist
I don't
again?
have independence here.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, look how big freaking Russ is.
Rust is a
Tall
tall
boy.
fellow.
It acts
Well,
like
if
I
you
can,
notice,
but it
he
won't
did
let me.
And then we have Tiny Ember.
Tiny Ember.
It's just a little
All
spark.
the turns have tabled.
It's just a little spark.
All right.
So
we'll make
Russ is
Ember a
definitely
size.
taller then?
A little bit.
Let's
All right,
see.
let me pull
No.
Lori onto the map.
Ah.
Just so we're all
Oh, there we
clear,
go.
I was on my
Right.
knees because the house is so short.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely
you
the
do
tallest one in the party.
You do notice this is a bit of a ramshackled sort of little villa. Apparently, Lori is sitting on Ember.
No, I was gonna say Lorian's.
Apparently, Ash is now the tiniest.
Out of
I'm
the
just-
chair.
I'll just stand up and let Lori have my seat.
I mean, Sid and Lori could probably fit in a single chair.
I know, right?
That's what I was thinking.
There we
How
go.
do I resize?
If you just, if you have the top thing selected, if you just click on the token, it should bring up a little bit of a grid around the edges that you can resize with. Did you need to
Nope.
be a bit smaller?
Quite a bit.
Currently, Ash looks like the smallest.
There we go.
I'm not
Teeny
sure how to actually resize. I can turn, but I'm still figuring out how to resize. I see the
It should
thing,
be on the
but
same.
it's
It
not
should be
like-
on the same little grid. Wait, giant Ash, real quick.
Oh my.
Huh?
giant
Looks like-
burb.
Giant Ash. Someone has cast Embiggen on Ash. Because that's a word. So as he's pulled you all inside, he's like, okay, nobody's following you?
Not as far as we know.
And this disheveled old man is basically... He looks at all of you and just suddenly his posture sort of straightens up and... Good, I don't want my cover being blown here. And I was told to expect you.
And
You've been
Russ's
sent-
head just kind of tilts.
You've been released from prison in the Imperial City and sent here. And
Yeah.
you may be wondering why. Now, the problem is, we've been having some issues with our recent occupation of this land. The natives aren't as welcoming as other countries have been to us. We're just trying to unify all of this land's peoples under one government, under one rule. And that's why we need your help. The 6 of you have been released from prison because of the local lore around here, a telling of the reincarnation of a war tribe, that they are heroes to these people. They're heroes in this land. And what we need is we need someone to stand in who fits the description, who fits the legend. Someone like the 6 of you. Now, we don't believe that you're actually the people of this reincarnated tribe, war tribe, and council, but you fit the bill good enough. And if you can convince the houses, the tribes, and whatnot, I think we can get a little bit more control. At that point, he says, all of you, you're welcome now to a service in a part of the government's army that you did not know existed. You are members of the Blades, the secret will and arm of the Empire.
Azizi is gonna glance over at Ember nervously, knowing his point of view on the Empire.
He's
Now-
just getting progressively
So-
warmer.
Yes?
So I feel the heat being so close. So we're supposed to be at least acting as if we're the reincarnation of this war tribe. Are these heroes for the native people? Someone that they would be friendly to?
Yes.
So is this kind of a resistance to the Empire?
No,
That we're
not.
playing.
It's not so much a resistance, more of a. We just want you to keep the Empire's interests in heart while you try to persuade these people that you are who you say you are.
Okay, so
Insight check.
Of course. What are you checking for?
Just if he's telling us the truth.
Okay.
And Russ
Is-
just kind of raises his hand real fast, and he's like, "So you want us to lie to these people?"
12.
12?
Yep.
He's not lying. He seems very honest.
Why should we help the Empire?
Well, we've given you
I
your
mean-
freedom.
You also stole
just-
our freedom.
Yes.
The crimes you
This isn't-
committed aren't important
Mm.
now.
Russ just kind of grumbles under his breath. So you
So
want us to
they're
lie to
only-
these people.
They're only not important when it's in your best interest, is what you're saying.
Of course.
we
Why-
are released, so let's look at moving forward. Besides persuading these tribes that they should peacefully live within the Empire, is there something more specific you're expecting us to do?
Well, we're a little bit hazy on the actual stories and sermons that have been passed along by these people, but we do understand that they sort of idolize this council that they have had. They had what they call the Tribunal. It's a collection of, if you'll, fancy this thought, mortals who ascended to godhood and still walk amongst the mortals. I personally think this entire thing is preposterous, and no mortal can become a god and stay. That's just silly. However, the people of this land believe it and are dedicated to this tribunal. And they believe that, according to their legends, the leaders of this tribunal, who were betrayed centuries and millennia ago, are set to return. Now, I'm sure there's been others in the past claiming to be them. But we need you to convince them. We need you to maybe look into these legends, maybe even look into these supposed gods themselves. Anything you can do to make the Empire's position of power a lot more seamless for us will be greatly appreciated, and will have easily earned your freedom here.
And if we don't,
Then we're going back to jail, my dear.
If you don't, well, we'll see how that goes. But yes, you would once again be considered criminals of the Empire.
Now, this is the only thing you would have us do.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. But first, you might need a cover story, just to ingratiate yourself with the people here. Thankfully, freelance adventurer is a pretty common title here, pretty common job aspirations. There's guilds that you could work with, maybe get your names out there, get your names known, be noticed by the houses, and we can build from there. Every so often, you'll return to me to provide an update. And should I have heard your name from people around, hear whispers of your tales, we can move on to the next steps. Now, we just need you to build a cover story and establish a name for yourselves. Because nobody's going to immediately trust a group just because they vaguely fit a description.
Azizi's gonna pull down her hood and reveal her ears and say, "Yeah, I hear you on that one."
He looks at your ears. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have assumed a tabaxi would have fit the description. No
Why is
matter.
that?
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, nothing. If anything, we're kind of surprised to see you, although there's been a lot of slave trade that the Empire's trying to stamp out in this region. We don't believe in things like enslavement or the trading of lives.
That might be the one positive thing I've heard out of this.
Now,
just grunts
are
and
you
agrees.
referring to Tabaxians being the slave traders or the slaves themselves?
Unfortunately, the elves of this land, some of them are stuck in their old, close-minded ways. We understand that tabaxi have every right to freedom. We understand that lizard folk have every right to freedom. Just because you are beast folk doesn't mean you're any less of a citizen of the Empire.
Azizi will glance over at Ash, and then look at the others and go, "The shopkeep. That might explain his behavior."
Would make
Shopkeep?
sense.
He notices you speaking. It almost seems like any hushed words said in this house, he immediately can hear you.
Oh,
He's like, I've been a spy master with the Blades for the last 50 years. Very little gets said or done in this town without me noticing. That being said, if anybody asks, I'm nothing more than a shriveled up, failed author as a little bit of an addiction.
hey, we all have our crutches. No judgment here, dear.
Rush just kind of growls a little bit again, and he looks up with a little more determination. Why can't you guys just convince them yourselves? I mean, lying to them isn't going to make things any better. Lying is just going to make things worse once they find out the truth. They will find out the truth. The truth is always found.
Think of it this way. You may not be the ones that their legends speak of, but you will become them, whether they know it or not.
Besides, you may not think of it as lying. Everyone loves a good show.
Exactly.
Rush
Lori
just
does
kind of
put a good spin
sighs
on
a
it.
little and lightly
And-
face palms.
Well,
And of course,
no.
you're going to establish a name for yourselves.
And if
Can't
you
have
put
you
on,
looking like you've slept in the woods last night.
I mean, we did.
At this point, he throws
no
600
one needs to
gold
know.
down on the table and says, think of this as your signing bonus so that you can gear up, get supplies, get what you need. Find a nice place to stay.
That's
Have a
great,
s-
but what about
have a-
what about the other 5 people in the room? Where's theirs?
And Rush just kind of glares at
I want a
Ember.
deception check right there, or a sleight of hand.
Oh no!
I'm not
no,
trying.
not
I'm not.
again.
No, I'm not trying to deceive my teammates. I'm trying to intimidate him.
Roll intimidation.
Oh gosh.
Azizi's just going to chuckle at Ember and go, "Such a hot boy, this one."
12.
At this point, you've noticed that he's just smiling at you, with his arms crossed. And he looks at you and thinks, do you really think you can intimidate the Imperial Spy Master? At this point, he holds up a hand, and you just see a swirl of frost around it. It's like, would you need a moment to cool off?
If you think you're powerful
Azizi-
enough, try it.
Azizi's
kinda
gonna
like-
shoot. She's gonna shoot her arm out between Cassius and Ember and kind of look at Ember like, now, mind your temper, dear. We are in his home.
Yes.
Not by
and
choice.
Please do
the
not
last thing
bring
I
it
need is the
down.
Guards. Yes, I don't need the guards coming here and having to talk with my soldiers of the Imperial Legion. I don't need them having to whisk me away back off to the fort so that I can stumble back to town again. Keeping cover stories is such a...
I understand, dear. I'm gonna excuse myself from the table and kind of pull Ember aside. Ember, dear, I know you're not for this, but just hear him out at least, okay?
I just glare at you and then look back at him, getting obnoxiously hot at this point.
Remember, I am a cat. We prefer warmth. And I understand you're a little upset. but we should at least hear him out. He is, as far as I'm concerned, just doing his job.
For the Empire. What job is that?
I know it may not be ones that we're fond of, but again, we do have our freedom only in these terms. Let's at least see where it goes.
I just palm the end of my great sword while his terms are acceptable, and then turn away and walk back over to here.
And as you return to the table, he looks at you and just says, I can see that you have a little bit of issue working with the government and the Empire. Think about it this way, then. You are just a group of adventurers attempting to establish their name, who may one day go on to unify the divided houses and tribes of this land under a single banner. Does that make it a little more palatable for you?
We don't have to like them, darlings. But we should at least put our lives first. And if our lives entail going along with what's in front of us, maybe we should at least and see where it goes.
I feel like this has the spark of a good ballad, and like any good tale, there's bound to be a twist or two.
He just sort of
If we
keeps
do this,
grinning
can
at
we
you.
go back home?
You can go anywhere you'd like afterwards.
Russ just kind of sighs a little and says, "This is not a good idea, but fine."
Good.
I mean-
Excellent. At this point, he does give you a bit of a map. He gives you a bit of explanation of the major important guilds. In the town map that he's given you, he circled a building, wrote the words Fighters Guild. He's written a circle around another building. He said Guild of Mages. He circled a third building, but didn't write anything around it.
And what?
Soot. Roll insight.
And the low rolls continue.
I'm gonna also get Azizi to roll insight.
One moment.
Yeah, sure. You give me a stupid good roll.
25.
Oh,
You immediately
jeez.
recognize the building that was circled but with no words put on it. It's the building that you found Soot coming out of the stairs. He doesn't make any
Azizi.
mention of it, but he does circle it for you, and it just writes Guild.
Azizi will take one of her nicely trimmed claws and place it right over top of that circled building and say, "Now, what of importance is this building, dear?"
Well, my spies and the guards and my eyes and ears all over the city have told me that this is a building of utmost importance. Fortunately, none of them seem to be able to tell me why. I think it might have something to do with the Corner Club. Might
Is it-
be the home of some sort of operation. We're looking into that, though.
Might it be because their senses are dulled when they get close to it?
I'm not sure. Hi, Leaf. How you doing? Oh,
so
Leaf,
it kind
thank you
of
for calling.
looks at Azizi across the table, just shakes her head a little bit.
Azizi will fold her ears down and give Soot a stern look. Clearly, this building is important. Now, what is it the guards are suspecting at this point? Do they have any sort of information?
Yep, there seems to be just a lot of goings-ons at all hours of the day. A lot of, merchandise that seems to come out of this building. Unexplainable. It never receives shipments, yet there's always items leaving this place. There's some markings on the door frame. We're having people translate them. We're a little bit,
Those markings, do they happen to be a triangle and a circle, or 3 lines with a slash through them?
No, actually. We have seen those markings around town. What we have noticed, though, it appears to be, and he just sort of draws like the vague outline of a chest, but it appears to be under a wavy line. And then there is just a big circle around the entire thing.
Do we know what language some of the markings are?
Well, here's a question. Does anybody speak Thieves' Cant?
Darn.
Does anybody have comprehend languages?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Leaf, you can speak Thieves' Cant all you want, but I don't think you can help them with it.
No.
I could have sworn.
Well,
I cast commune. It's my phone a friend.
Your phone a friend?
What a friend.
I'm joking. I don't even have that one.
I think I know someone who might.
Oh.
Oh.
It might be a certain Russ, Eyes of the Rune Keeper.
Yes,
Mm.
you do have that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In fact, I have it twice on my stupid sheet. Still unhappy.
Yes, I'll remove the secondary one.
Yeah, I
just
have
wanna
5
pull up the
billion
spell
secondaries.
description for that for me. So just want to hit the... You can read all writings.
Oh.
All right. That's
You love
pretty
books
good.
so much.
Russ, you are going to kind of stare at the symbol that he drew on the page for you. Your eyes are just going to kind of gloss over with a little bit of a teal light to them. You're going to stare deep at this paper and go, safe house, home, protected.
Protected from what, I wonder?
But that's all it tells you. And
then
I'm guessing
Russ
you
just
relay
kinda
this
grumbles.
information to everyone.
Yeah, he would. And Ruster then just kind of grumbles, safe remember me.
So, at this point, Cassius looks at you and goes, that's a neat little ability you have. We might have some need for that skill. It's great for spies to be able to read all writing.
And what house was that marked on?
This was marked under the house where the corner club, the Candle in the Dark corner club. Oh, Sierra. Thank you so much for the bits. You might regret this later, but I give the love.
Yes.
Aw. And Leaf, thank you also for the bits. And, of course, a hydrate. I will hydrate. And the worst part is because I actually have face cam, you guys actually whether or not I'm hydrating.
Yep.
Also because you don't mute when you drink usually.
That too.
Alright.
Oh, dang it.
Pro tip.
Suffer.
Pro tip.
This
Opaque
was-
bottles. You'll never know what you're drinking.
This bottle was full when I started the stream. There's that much.
Not anymore. Your liver's gonna love you today.
All right. So
I'm not sorry.
that's fair. So yes, he's looked at you and said, if you want to hang back with me, you're more than welcome to. We've got a list of other symbols that we might need your help deciphering.
Russ just kind of tilts his head and just nods a little. What for? What's the cost for?
He
All
just
this stuff.
he just kind of looks at you. He starts kind of just looking behind him and rummaging through some of his books and notes. And at this point, I think it's up to you guys. Where would you like to go from here? As I said, he has circled 3 distinct buildings, either the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, or what you suspect at this point might be a Thieves Guild.
But leans over towards the others. Can we find a tavern? Or no, a lodging.
Haven't
Lodgings.
you had
just to-
enough?
No, I meant to say lodgings. I misspoke.
Nope.
See,
it's
you're
canon.
still under the effect.
I was clearly still drunk. It's not a speech impediment at all. Can we?
Sarah, what are you doing? Thank you, but
Like-
no.
Yeah.
Goodness.
1,000 bits on this one too.
And all right.
Stop it.
I already said you can't
Never.
get inspiration for bits, but you might get inspiration for bits.
I'm not doing it for inspiration. I'm doing it to share the love.
Bribery.
It's appreciated.
By the
Take
way,
the
I don't know if
inspiration!
I don't know if everyone knows this, but Sierra's awesome.
Yeah.
So, we just need
I've
to
heard.
let, we need
Took
to
the
let the
words right
internet
out of
know
my
that.
Sierra
Sierra
is
is stupendous.
spectacular.
Spectacular?
comment.
Stupendous.
You can no comment all you want. It doesn't make any less
Okay,
true.
that
so
looks
there.
cool.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
What?
In my chat, I just look over and I see Leaf inspiration, and it's all like glowing and it really cool.
Oh, it's a bits thing. It's new.
Oh, is that?
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know
That
that
is
was a
so
thing.
cool. That is amazing. That looks so neat. Thank you again for the bits.
It doesn't show on mobile. I feel like I'm missing out horribly.
It's a
How
very
about no? Because
inspired
I don't have any
message.
bits, and I will probably never
It
have
is
any
also
bits.
like I look over and I just see it out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, wow, this kind of looks really awesome from the side here. Because I actually decided to plug in a second monitor today. So if I'm looking
Nice.
this way, it's because I'm looking at a second screen that actually has my OBS up and running.
Now hang on, the
Nice.
potato handles that?
Yes, surprisingly.
Wow,
Yeah, when it's split among two screens, suddenly it's much more behaved.
that's interesting.
I told you,
Um,
it is a Dell Dell workstation, so maybe that's
That's
what's
true.
Azizi's gonna look over at Cassius and go, "Which of the inns would you recommend we stay once the sun sets?"
Once the sun sets? Well, depends. I assume you don't want to stay. I wouldn't recommend the flop house down the road from here. I usually just use that as a cover to get information from my informants. I would recommend something in the midtown near the market. There's a couple places.
Well, which one's your favorite, dear?
That would be the South Wall Club. It says club, but corner clubs, taverns, very similar here. They have rooms, very, very reasonable prices, clean rooms too. And looks around at you. They don't ask much questions as long as the gold is paid.
Oh. Azizi's gonna look at the rest of the group and go, "Well, which place do we want to go first? I assume it's maybe early or mid-afternoon at most, maybe late morning still."
At this point, it's probably about mid-afternoon. You kind of spend some time frantically looking around for soot. Also talking with the shopkeep in the market. So I will say you arrived at town at about just before noon, spent about 2 hours or so in the market. So it's early afternoon.
All right.
So approaching tea
Darlings.
time.
Ah. Now, did Ember buy anything for tea, or does he just have a teapot?
I have
And
tea,
then teapot,
tea
sharp,
bags.
and stout. Oh wait, that's Lori.
And he notices the teapot in your hand, or you talking about a teapot. He's like, someone who likes to enjoy just a nice hot beverage. I wouldn't have guessed it.
The hotter, the better.
Looks at the fire sort of crackling on you, and then I might suggest something in the higher districts. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's a lot nicer. A lot higher quality of people will come in and out. They certainly won't ask you any questions. For you, it might be about 10 gold a night for each of you.
I'm holding the teapot in my hands, kind of like cradling it. And as he starts addressing me directly, trying to be nice, it just starts to whistle.
Azizi's
Yeah.
gonna fold her ears down and say, maybe the slightly higher end would be nicer.
Of course, it's also owned by a lovely person. Unfortunately, most of the businesses in this city are owned by elves. However, you won't see this very often. It's actually a half-orc that runs it. I believe they own a very expensive company somewhere in another city. Very well-spoken individual for a half-orc.
Do they have a
Oh.
name?
I'm terrible with orc pronunciations, but grow a ball? Here, let me spell it out for you. And he spells it out. It's Groabhall, or AAL. I'll just throw that up in the chat.
I can't unhear it.
Randyisms.
Gorilla ball.
Yes, he's a half orc. He's, as I said, he's a very well-spoken gentleman. A little bit of a ladies' man.
Will they let me in? And Soot just kind of lifts both arms as dust just
Looks
drifts
down,
away.
looks down at the dust and kind of goes, "Oh, certainly. They don't question where the gold comes from. They might try to encourage you to take a bath, but they have the loveliest spa
Ugh.
services as well if you can afford it."
Sounds gross.
He looks to you, Ember. Can I help you with something?
I'm just moving around. Would I have left Samuel outside?
Probably.
And with
Samuel
my...
would have been perched, I'd say, probably up on the roof, just kind of keeping an eye on the alleyway, make there's nobody coming.
Okay. So this door is shut, right?
Yes.
Is this window open?
The window itself is actually boarded up.
Oh,
All
damn
of
it.
the windows around here are kind of dirty, dingy, either broken or boarded up.
Damn it. Okay.
Azizi is going to look over at Ember and go,
This is the kind of sketchier part of the neighborhood. So, broken window theory. All the windows are kind of smashed.
We're just gonna say that
Azizi.
Ember's sort of pacing in the room.
Pace away.
I think we should go talk. I think there's a lot to talk about.
Of course, and
Russ-
he
Russ
looks at
nods.
the gold on the table that he's just thrown to all of you and says, "Feel free to take that. If you need more, come back and ask."
Yeah.
The Empire likes to make sure that their spies are well funded.
I do
So it takes
appreciate
100.
I do appreciate the forward payment, dear. Thank you. And, of course, you took us into your home to speak to us about this. So thank you for your hospitality.
Of course. Now, if anybody asks, I'm nothing more than a broken, withered, failed author who writes trashy romance novels and has a bit of an addiction.
Of course. You've given us no reason to throw you under the trailer, shall I
Carriage.
say. Or carriage.
Wagon.
Your secret's safe with us, dear.
No, you did say you wanted our friend here to help you translate some runes. Now or symbols or something.
Of course.
Now, this would be a little above and beyond our mission, so
Oh yeah, they would be paid as a translator and put on a retainer for any work and any other translations or writings that we can have them assist with. I can gather some and send word with courier.
do you also have maybe a list of books that are difficult
Books?
to acquire that
Well,
would be in your keeping? Or
nothing in my
or
keeping, but I could recommend a very good bookstore.
Okay.
And he points out in the upper town, it's a very well-to-do bookstore. This bookstore, it's got a lot of interesting books. It's got religious texts, it's got lore. It always seems to have something new every day.
Interesting.
And Russ just kind of perks up a little, and he immediately takes note to go and check out that bookstore.
Yes, of course. Here, let me give you the name of the bookstore. And the bookstore is named the Eye of Mora bookstore.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Sounds
thank you.
fancy.
I have things I'm looking for. Yeah.
And you'll be able to spot it quite easily. It's got a bit of a strange sign. And he just kind of says, it's an octopus on the sign. An octopus surrounded by stacks of
Huh.
books.
Different. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem.
I'm gonna
I'm-
fire
I'm-
off a divine sense really quickly.
Divine sense?
While you're
course.
still inside?
Just as
Yeah,
I'm
no,
pacing
divine
pacing the
sense is-
house.
That's absolutely fine. Divine sense, within 60 feet, you can detect whether anything is a fiend, undead, celestial, or I believe, I can't remember the fourth one. I think it's just a 3 though. Want to just toss it up on the screen?
I don't have my character sheet open.
Okay.
Let me
I'm pretty
get that open really
knowledgeable about
quickly.
paladin ability, so
Character sheet, divine sense. Speak.
a presence of strong evil registers on your senses like a noxious odor. A powerful good rings like heavenly music in your ears. For this, I will say you don't notice anything celestial, fiendish, or otherwise.
Outside of Russ.
Everything seems fairly mundane, nothing that you wouldn't have already known. I was gonna say,
Okay.
except for Russ. Thank you for the sin is great.
Would that include? So I'm assuming each square is 5 feet, right? So as I'm
Yes.
pacing, would that include anything outside the house?
It would include things outside the house. Outside the house, you don't detect anything out of the ordinary. Nothing really registers. Everything seems fairly mundane.
Okay.
You are also on the opposite side from the river from the temple that was pointed out by the town guard. So yes, aside from the sense of Russ, the damp fear in the room, so to speak, well, literally to speak, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Does it have a
And
duration?
darlings, let's head back outside. I need to stretch.
What's the duration on Divine Sense?
It's one action, so typically that would be about just an instant sort of in the presence of. I would say for the interaction's length, essentially.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't linger.
Okay.
Do the others notice that he's cast this?
Nope.
No, it's passive. Sort of.
Yeah. All it would is basically tell you, 6 seconds if you want to get technical. Just enough for you to register that nothing seems out of the ordinary.
So our
Okay.
mood ring doesn't burn a little brighter.
No.
No.
I did notice Soot. If you want to cast Detect Magic.
Soot does, but she's going to wait until she's outside the house.
I'm gonna like
'Cause
step
it-
in front, so that maybe she's a little more hidden.
Actually,
I mean, you
that
are
partially
twice your
obscures
height.
me, I think, because of I can attempt to hide even when I'm obscured by a creature that's at least one size larger than you. So I think that
That does technically count. You are a size small, and he is a size medium. So if you want to cast it from behind him while you are leaving the house, you can feel free to.
okay. So on
Hey, Crow.
her way out of the house, so she's like kind of out of
Welcome back.
Not an
Not
Oni!
not an Oni. All right. So
kind of out of
you
view.
guys are also jumping out the window. I'm.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that not what the front door is? Where's the front door?
The front door is the one with
I just imagine that like the scene from
No worries,
SpongeBob when he's
is
like,
This is the door.
Here!
Yes, the one with the stones outside of it is the door.
The door
just
stops
imagine
here.
I was too
Ember
scrolled up.
picking
I didn't
up
see the
the front and
stone.
trying to throw
Oh
them
no,
out
here
the
we go
window.
again.
Okay, and then gonna
Detect
do that.
magic. For the duration, you have the friends within 30 feet. So let's say each one of these is 5 feet standing. Pull out my ruler.
Wait, I'm behind Ember. There we go.
that would be the width of the house.
I'm gonna say that you
No.
cast it just before leaving. So I'll give you
So-
an extra like couple feet for that.
Wait, what? I thought
Wait,
each square was
I
5
thought it was
feet.
5
No,
feet
wait.
per square.
Yeah, it is 5 feet per square. My bad. So that should only be 15. The ruler's a little bit messy. The house is
Okay.
not 80 feet long.
Okay.
Like, wait a second.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I
He's
will
in
give
a
you-
mansion.
Apparently, this isn't a crack house. This is a crack mansion.
Oh my gosh, get on with it.
Sorry. Okay. When you cast Detect Magic, you do notice one thing in particular. There is this overwhelming magical presence coming from Cassius. You can tell that he is someone who has been practicing magic for a long time. It is almost overwhelming and just blinding, this sort of aura you feel around him. It takes up this entire home.
So it kind of gets full body shivers and like grabs Ember by the sleeve and hauls him out. Like, nope, we are not messing with that.
Nope,
Okay.
nope.
That's fair.
Thank you again,
So-
Cassius.
Yes.
Did you want us to check in with you after we visit one or more of these places?
Once you've made a decision of which guild, I'm sure I'll hear of your exploits. But yes, if you'd like to check in periodically, either I will reach out to you by courier, or you feel free to come in and check in. I'd say complete a quest or two for one of the guilds I mentioned and check back in with me.
That'll do. Thank you again, darling.
At this point, I am going to say that you guys have left his house. I'm going to pull you into the town. You now are all standing outside. If you want, I can draw circles around the houses or the areas that he did point out for you.
Please do.
Yes, please.
So
Yeah.
he has circled this building. The
That's
one marked
sketchy one.
guild.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has marked. He has also circled this building as a lovely place for you guys to stay.
Ah, the inn. It's on the other side of town, of course.
Yes.
That's 10 gold per night per person.
Well, he did give us 600 gold.
The
Yes,
three
he
short
did.
people count as one person, right?
I mean, they might
Anything
already
to
want
get
that.
in disguise.
This house just to the north of it, he's also marked, along with this one for the bookstore. So this one with the round section is the bookstore.
Okay.
Not quite three gnomes in a trench coat, but we have one gnome, one halfling, and an owlin. And thank you for subscribing. It's greatly appreciated.
I know. The 3 tall people will each put the 3 short people on our shoulders individually, and we'll all go in as 3 people.
With our powers combined.
Actually, you know what? I will get you to do perception and not perception, a deception and or performance check for that. But if you want to try to sneak them in to pay a reduced price, you're more than welcome. You can
I
try.
could probably hide one of them under my sleeve since they're so gapingly large.
I know,
Oh,
right?
can wait. Soot can do wild shape.
So we just got gifted 600 gold. Are we really gonna squabble over 30?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's dirty
we
gold.
may, we may
It's
have to explain our presence in there later if we're going to have to get information.
Yeah, if we stay more than one night.
What about the Midtown place that he mentioned?
Yep.
That wasn't the only inn.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't the only inn he mentioned. The other
So
inn
we're-
Can you
he
circle
mentioned-
it?
I look over at Lori, and then I turn back to the rest of the party and go, so are we just going to be a bunch of uptown girls?
So if you've noticed, I circled this one on the south end of the town with this staircase that looks like it's wrapping around it.
Okay.
That one is a multi-floored structure of a tavern.
And Rush just kind of
Well-
goes, "What's an uptown girl?"
Now that we're outside, darlings, I just want to be clear. I'm not fond of the Empire either. Not for any personal reasons, but
Well, let's
again,
Sounds like
let's.
Can we talk away from the
let's
very, very magic dude's house?
yes,
I
let's
assumed we were
find
far away from her
somewhere
anyway.
private.
I want to get to at least there. What's this
You wanna
building
get
up at the top?
This one?
Yeah.
That would be a temple.
Okay.
Ooh. Might be interesting.
That guy had a lot of magic coming off of him. I don't think there's anything that we could do that we could have like scratched our leg under that table and he would have known.
Oh,
Rush just kinda
probably.
blinks like, oh.
There.
He did give off this air of confidence.
Azizi's gonna glance over at Ember and go, "You do remember he summoned frost out of thin air on his finger, remember? Of course
I could
he's
take him.
overwhelmingly, just pluming with magic."
I could take him.
And Rush just kind of
Perhaps.
reaches over and smacks Ember upside the head. Idiot.
Ow!
You are a little hot-headed.
He's
Does he have
with
to
the
roll for that?
Empire. What are we supposed to do?
But
Guys,
Empire
it's
doesn't
jerk.
always have to be
can
a
we-
bad thing, you know. No, yes, I know you go. I get it. You don't like it, but maybe it's okay. I don't like any of this either. I don't like not having any information. I don't trust this guy any farther than I could throw him, which is pretty doggone far. But yeah. But calm.
We
your-
smile and
calm your
nod, and
toes.
then
Calm down.
We play their game until we find our chance. Right
Ember-
now, they're holding
I like
all
that.
of the cards.
I'm just going to
I
start
already have a
walking
quest.
across the bridge, and the water starts bubbling beneath me. I'm running that hot.
Soot kind of leads into Azizi. I think I already have a quest.
oh, why do you
Rush
say
just
that,
kinda
dear?
huffs.
And Randy, you might have to correct me a little bit if I think I know what Soot's forgotten, but
So you definitely remember what you were told to do. You just don't really remember the faces of the people who told you to do it.
but she still knows what that place was.
Yes, and that would actually be here. I'll ping that right now on the map.
It's
right
the
here.
And
This property.
okay.
It's right on the
So-
north edge of the town. It's this really nice looking sort of mansion. It's got the building next to it is actually somewhat attached to it.
Can I roll for perception to make sure that we're not being listened to?
Sure.
I will also roll for perception. Oh, never mind.
Rip.
Don't need to.
Finally.
There you go.
All right. So you do notice what's around you. You do kind of look. You see just some people sort of staring off from the edges of the building. Not so much behind the building, but just they're going about their business casually, just sort of walking around town. But every once in a while, you do notice that someone just kind of gives you a side glance. You notice a combination of humans, a combination of elves, just milling about, having basic conversation with each other. But every once in a while, you just sort of notice that a human every now and then get town guards, one of the Imperial Legion guards, just sort of stops and looks at your group. Nothing sinister behind it. Hi, Menace. Thank you for the hydrate, and yes, I will get to that right now.
Hi, Menace. Foot leans into Azizi. Can we go where there's less eyes?
Have
Of
you guys
course.
decided on which tavern you'd like to go to?
Which one do we want to go to? Azizi will bend down to Soot and go, "Are you feeling all right, dear? You don't seem as
Thank you.
intoxicated as you were before, but
I was
something's
not
bothering
drunk,
you."
thank you. But there's people watching. I don't want to talk out here.
And might I also
Whatever.
mention that Russ looks a little bit drained. Perhaps that comprehension spell or whatever it is he did was a little more draining than we expected. So maybe we head for this closer in.
Noni. And
For whichever tavern. Sorry,
kind of-
whichever tavern was
I
closer.
absolutely adore what's going on in my chat right now. So I just want to point
And
out
Russ
I do
is kind of,
absolutely adore it.
Russ just
Oh,
kind
it
of
is
yawns
cute.
a little, and he says, "I'm fine. I'd just like to go maybe look at some books, and I'll catch up with everybody else later. Okay? I'm gonna go check books. Yeah, books. I like books.
Azizi's gonna reach out to Russ and say, "Hold on, dear. Maybe you shouldn't go alone. Does anyone want to go with him? We shouldn't split off on our own.
And Russ says,
Remember,
"I'll be
we
fine.
lost-
I'll be fine.
We lost
Okay,
Soot for a while earlier."
I'll be fine. I'm good. I'm okay."
Well, I think if we all go find lodgings at this inn, we could find a nice private room where there's no prying eyes or ears. And come up with a plan.
That's an idea.
And then books after that.
Promise. We will go for books after that.
Yes.
I don't know whose mic that is. That is absolutely crackly.
I think that's Sierra.
Sierra's
Yeah.
having issues.
Russ needs books, and I need sleep. You'll survive. You're doing good.
Oh, shut up! I've been up 17 hours.
And Russ slept for you.
That does not.
I don't think
count.
it works
was
that way.
kid.
It doesn't.
If
What's-
you gotta go, we can.
They're trying to drown me, so.
Don't
Okay,
make me drown you some more.
can
so
we-
help me.
Can we do a thing though? Like, let's go to the inn, or if Russ wants to go to the bookstore, let's go.
Have you guys decided on where you want to go?
I would say in first, but
So it's kind
The
of
big
sticking
one
her
down
nose
south?
up at the high class inn, but she'll
Alright.
follow if the rest of you guys go there.
All right, I will pull you guys over to the high class inn, and boy howdy does it look nice.
oh, I thought we were going to the tavern.
They're
Yeah, inn tavern.
They're all the
It's
same around
in
here.
The- so are we going to the
Is this the
high
expensive one
class
or the other one?
or the mid tier
it-
one?
Look at the size of it and tell me, do you think which one this is?
I thought we
That's
wanted
the
to go to the one
expensive
to the south.
Oh, you want to go to the one to the south?
We're poor.
Maybe
The one that's not terribly expensive. Yes, we were just given 100 gold, but let's at least see our options.
Is there a dragon head on the wall in that?
Yes, there is.
Randy,
Yeah, we can't afford that.
Yep, just give me 1 second. I just got to pull up the other
Soot's gonna get immediately kicked out.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But
Soot, the druid,
that's
just
kind
gonna
of the
walk
goal.
in and reanimate the bear rug, and it's.
That's kind of my goal here. I was gonna write that Russ probably goes to the bookshop and browses and noses and is a nosy little butt, and then
I just gotta pull the NPC
and then I go to
on
bed.
onto this.
I'm tired.
Why doesn't Samuel follow Russ to
We could do that.
make sure
That's
nothing
up to
happens?
Ember.
Keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Ember, what do you think?
I'll
So-
send Samuel to sit on Russ's head, like the rat from Ratatouille, and
Oh, for
watch them
Pete's
as they
sake.
go off to the bookstore.
He's
Look
gonna
at
go
it this
nerd out
way.
of the bookstore for a while.
Look at it this way, Russ. At least this one's not gonna drop you on the floor.
And Russ just kind of shrugs
What?
like,
Wait.
"You're still stupid."
Did I pull up the wrong building? I pulled up the wrong building.
We're getting a quick tour of the entire town.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, basically. Heck with it. I'm gonna pull up this one. I'm gonna fog of war it. I'm gonna make this a lot smaller on us. Because for some reason I can't find the thing I was looking for. So hide areas. You still get the fancy dragon head, but
I mean, so everyone's good with Russ running up to the bookstore with a falcon on his head.
As long as Russ is okay with it.
He's more than okay with it. Honestly, I think he needs some time to think.
That's fine, dear. We'll see you later then.
And
alright,
he's
you
kind of
guys, I
waves
should
a
pull
little
you
and
over to
off he
this map
goes.
real quick. There, it should be a lot smaller now.
Yeah.
You guys lose most of the building in this process, unfortunately. So you only have access to the ground floor at this point.
Well, for now, yes.
Yes.
Alright, I go now.
Where is my
Bye.
bartender?
Have a good
Enjoy
sleep.
it. Reading.
Yourselves, especially you, Ember. Don't get us killed.
There's a cheeky little grin on Ember's face, and then his eyes flash red with fire really quickly.
And just
Oh,
got a
dear.
double bucket of water on your head now and run away!
Oh dear.
So, because I can't position him directly behind this bar, but I can put him directly here. So there
He's
is a
sitting on
bartender.
the dragon head.
He's underneath the dragon head. So you're all gonna enter. I'm assuming as one big soot.
Why is
Don't know how to
size again?
sizes.
Wait, stop making me tiny.
Oh, and there goes Sierra.
Dang it, not again.
There we go.
Yay.
All right.
So,
I will pull a Lori over off into the.
I mean, is there a stage in here?
Is there a stage in here?
Oh,
There are tables.
Any
Yeah, that was
table
what I asked.
is a stage, and this is somewhere that feels very at home for me, and some of the performances that I've given. Although I do notice quite a bit of animal skins and heads, and I want to do a quick. Would it be perception or insight check to see if this place would be friendly for beast folk?
Yeah, you're more than welcome to. If you can give an insight of the bartender, it is a human bartender. This, because you can sort of see just right away he is human.
Okay.
Bartender is standing there at the bar. He's wiping a glass clean. He's looking at all of you as you walk in. He just kind of doesn't even really say much. The place seems kind of empty for an early afternoon. But you just assume that's because, people probably don't drink until the nighttime.
People.
Soot kind of
Things
goes,
may be a little.
Soot goes to a spot where they can hopefully not be overheard.
Of course, the bartender is still just paying no attention to you. He just kind of looks at all of you and just kind of goes, and just sort of just goes back about milling about behind the bar. He just kind of looks up again, realizes that you've all sat at a table, and just, if you want anything, just give me a shout. And at this point, he's just sort of putting the cups away. He just looks like he just was getting cleaned up from the night before. You'd like to do an insight for what?
Same thing as Lori.
Oh yeah, this place.
Seeing as I am a beast folk.
Yeah, this place seems absolutely fine. It's, even though it's midtown, it doesn't seem like you're going to run into any issues here. It's just, as I said, it seems very empty. He seems to just be minding his own business.
At this point, Azizi does have her hood up because she's still a little nervous, not knowing the town that well.
For that level of insight, what you did notice on your way in, that this place is literally just named the Hunter.
Named what?
The Hunter's Rest.
Hmm.
So with a 22 insight, you're probably going to assume that maybe the owner, maybe he used to be a hunter, maybe the person who owns the building used to just hunt animals or live game, but now it looks like they just settled down with the property.
Azizi will approach the barkeep and say, "Hello.
He looks up.
We're new in town."
Well, I can see that. What would you have?
Well, I'm Azizi. Nice to meet you. What is your name, dear?
He looks at you. Name's Glug.
Glug.
Nice
Glug
to meet you, Glug.
Tankstein. His parents were very original in his naming. His name is Glug Tankstein. And it is spelled Stein, like a Stein glass.
I'm stealing
What,
that name from my Skizzlecraft base, just so you know.
Feel free.
What spirits would you offer, dear?
And he just kind of looks around. Usual, we've got mead, ale, we've got brandy, we've got rum, we've got whiskey, we've got shawarma, we've got Shien, and we have Cyrodiilic brandy. But that's the top shelf stuff. Oh, unfortunately, we are out of the higher quality stuff. Unfortunately, we just can't seem to get any in town. Not sure why. The Northerners honeyed liquor.
Well, I don't know about the rest of the group, but I wouldn't mind getting a pitcher of the ale for us to split. Is it alright if we get this table over here that my friends have already seated at?
Of course. Did you guys want anything to eat? I assume he kind of like looks at the group and look. You might want a salad or something. Kind of says with a little bit of a laugh, assuming that none of you want to eat chicken.
Azizi at this point will just slowly pull her hood back and go, "Actually, now that you mention chicken."
He just kind of looks at you and just, I see that they're probably not letting you in the other taverns, are they? He just kind of goes about his business. He doesn't seem to mind that you're a tabaxi. He's just getting it ready. He's pouring ale for you. He's getting just a really big pitcher of it ready for everybody. And I'm assuming no drinks for the little ones.
Oh, they're. I know they appear smaller, but they're actually closer to our age. They aren't children, if that's what you think.
I think I've had enough of alcohol for today.
He looks at you and looks at Ember and goes, "Well, I didn't strange as parents."
Ash actually is underaged for a Dowlin.
Azizi's
I
gonna
will
chuckle
take a
at
half
Ember.
pint of
Wait, what?
A half pint.
You're a half. Are you saying you want a half pint, or you are a half pint?
Yes.
And he'll like kind of just overhear that and just kind of give out a little snicker, grab a slightly smaller tankard. It almost looks like a child-sized version of the same cups he's grabbing for everyone else.
Perfect.
Azizi's
Thank
gonna
you.
kind of gesture towards Lori and go, I'm actually surprised you don't recognize this one. She's a musician after all.
Musician, eh? Well, feel free to come back after nightfall. We might actually have some. We get some rowdy customers in here sometimes that always need a little bit of soothing. You never know. You never know when a good tune will hook them right up.
Soothing or energizing?
All
Saying,
depends on the
"I have
night.
a few. Okay.
Potato,
keep that.
potato.
Oh, you gotta have the right set list, though.
True.
Speaking of potato, I am not as easy. I am this potato. Every potato in the world.
Now, Glug dear,
Yep.
is it just the tavern you run, or
Nope.
do
we
you
have,
have any?
we have rooms upstairs in case you need them.
Now, what would you charge for our group, if I may ask?
6 of you. 2 gold a night.
I'm gonna look at the rest of the group and go,
Much
I
better
mean-
than the other place.
yes. And he's
Think
friendly
that sounds
too.
reasonable.
And heck, if any of us can't seem to fall asleep at night, he looks over at Lori.
I'm guessing. I
Maybe
take it
some
you guys
music
would
will be
want
helpful.
room then.
Yes, please, if you have any available.
And he just kind of nods and yeah, we can arrange that. And normally they reserve that room for just anybody who needs to drop it in, but he'll mark that off as private for you guys this evening. So, anything else that can get you guys? At this point, he's gotten his big pitcher of ale. He's just gonna carry it over to your table and just sort of plop it down for you.
Honestly, dear, we did some walking through the woods this morning. I think we'll be good just to sit and chat for a while, if that's okay.
Of course. Hope you guys didn't run into any of the bandits or the netch in the woods.
There were a couple of
Oh,
bandits.
Maybe.
Perhaps?
Well, hopefully the Legion will clear them up soon. And he just kind of walks away.
I'm gonna turn to the group and say, well, I think this is more comfortable now. So, what do you guys think? What do you want to do first?
So I don't know what to think about the whole work for the Empire thing. I don't like it, but the
Oh, I
other
don't.
thing is so the information on where that guy was, it might not have been for free. Well, technically I didn't agree to anything, but so you remember on the map he pointed out that building to the north and he didn't have a name for it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I might have met some people. I couldn't tell you details on them. That whole place was a bit. There must have been something going on with it. My senses went all weird when I walked down the
Ugly?
stairs.
Is this before
And-
or after you started drinking, my dear?
And-
Lori, dear, come
It was
on.
not the alcohol. My alcohol tolerance is fine.
I want you to roll a Constitution.
Oh no.
Ooh. At this point, Azizi has chugged half of her cup.
And I'm gonna say that after saying that their alcohol tolerance is fine, they are going to grab a full-sized pint and just slam the whole thing back and slam it down and look at you all and go, "See, I'm fine." And then they're just gonna slip off the chair slightly, but they're gonna stay standing. There's just a little bit
Maybe
longer.
Information to convey. Damn it! Not gonna pass out here.
No, you're clearly on your feet. You can handle this. You might have to get something, a bit of the bread or that turkey sandwich that's been sitting in your pocket all day.
Oh, the rat's probably eating that. But yes, this place.
The rat has eaten half of it.
Soot pulls out the other half and just starts munching on it, completely
Oh,
uncaring
jeez.
about the rat nibble mark.
rat. Wonderful.
Totally fine with sharing with a rat.
A pocket rat. Yes.
So this building, I think the guild No, the guild works there. It's and she leans in and very over dramatically whispers, "The Thieves Guild."
Dun dun
Hmm.
dun.
So I don't remember much about it, and I'm pretty sure it's not because of the alcohol. I'm pretty sure there was something funny about that place. But what I do remember is that they offered me a spot in the guild, and if I want that spot, I have to do something for them that may involve a small amount of property damage.
Which property did they ask you to renovate,
Oh,
so to speak?
the biggest one in the town, obviously. House Halu. The they there's some stuff there that the guild wants either reclaimed or destroyed. Um, so honestly, I wasn't gonna do it. I don't like being in these sort of things. I don't care about being in the guild, but if we decide to do what this spy master wants, it seems like a good place to start. And then if we're in the guild good books, that gives us an in so many places. You have no idea how far reaching these organizations can be. They can get us places.
It sounds like we don't really have
Probably.
a choice.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. So it's essentially this group that you met with, even though you can't remember who they were exactly. I'm sure we could find out another time. However, as much as we don't want to do what the Empire wants, perhaps there's a way we could do both.
We could use the Empire for cover. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he did tell us to make up our own cover stories, so who's to say that our cover story is not our actual story? And, if the Empire wants to slip us a little gold to keep it up on the side, I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah, seems like a fair deal to me.
They're stolen gold.
So
And besides, Ember, I know how you feel about the Empire. But getting closer to them might give you an advantage later on, don't you think?
An advantage to slit some throats? Yeah.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Still don't like it.
I don't think
Well,
anyone here likes it.
You were
No.
engraving symbols of Artemis, right? We could work that into the cover. That
Yes.
as we're reincarnated gods or whatever we're supposed to be doing, maybe you are some affiliate of Artemis herself, and part of our quest to finish our reincarnation is to regain whatever memories or skills are associated with that.
Ember just downs his drink and sits there staring at the table.
Do we see any steam coming off of you?
Probably.
Maybe a little out of the side of his mouth as the beverage just boils on its way down.
Careful, I can cast Create Water now.
And what, make him a steamboat?
He just needs an instant cooldown.
Yes.
That would be absolutely hilarious, and I would barely get anybody to roll again for that. I would mostly get him to roll against that.
While everyone's kind of settling in and calming down a bit, I'm gonna shrug my sleeve and have Kibo come out. Have him just come out on the table. Kibo, dear, I need you to ask something of Kellenvor for me. I know how he is. Now please go and ask him if there's anyone in this town we should be wary of. And I'll leave that up to the DM if I need to make a roll for it.
Yep, I'm gonna get you to roll religion. Because you are technically asking your god something, so.
And as Azizi looks at Kibo, both of their eyes suddenly being the same as Kibo's eyes were normally orange, they are both now lavender purple.
Beautiful.
As she tries to reach out to Kellamvor to see if there's anything she should watch for.
Wow.
Nice.
Kibo will kind of swirl into a spectral mist as he poofs,
Yeah.
and then
all of a sudden you're just gonna feel something almost crawl up your pant leg, up the robes, and just sort of like sit on your lap, and then you're just gonna hear this chittering from your lap. Now you're gonna understand what it says. Unfortunately, no one else at your table will understand this. But there's chittering, and he talks of spellcasters, those in the temple who don't respect the remains of their own ancestors.
I had a feeling. And all the party is going to hear is a series of whistles and clicks as Kibo and Azizi speak to each other. Azizi's eyes glowing now.
And that's
Thanks.
that's all that he's going to say is just those who don't respect their ancestors reside in the depths of the temple.
Thank you, dear. And please thank Kellamvor for me when you head back. As Kibo then purrs a little bit, looks towards the others with a tail wag, and then crawls back up her sleeve.
Okay.
Darlings,
Is there like a portal or something up in there? Where does that thing go?
He's
does
a
he want a
familiar.
snack next time?
he's a familiar. He has no appetite. He's basically a ghost.
No.
Now, what Kibo just told me, darlings, we should probably keep an eye on that temple. I don't exactly know what's going on there, but it's not good. And I've also noticed Cassius didn't circle that.
He had no point to. As
Is
far
it-
as he's concerned, it was just the local temple.
Is it public access?
So is it
Oh yeah.
is it under the Empire at this point?
Nope. That is still a temple that is reserved for the worship of their ancestors and all of the things that the natives of this land do worship. A lot of it is revering their ancestors, revering the split between the High Elves and the Dark Elves.
And yet something is dark indeed over there. I don't know about you, darlings, but instinct for me begs me to go to that temple. So, I don't know what the rest of you want to do tomorrow morning, but that's where I'll be headed.
I'll
Well,
accompany
Not
you.
really a good idea to steal from a very wealthy house in the middle of the day. So, I'll go with you.
All right. Are you going to be stealing from the house this evening? Question.
Wait, which
Well,
house?
The
With
house.
with what Soot had mentioned regarding the Thieves Guild, propositioning them for a little bit of smash and grab.
Will I have any help? I'm not expecting the paladin. I'm not
I
going to
mean-
ask that of the paladin, but will I have help?
Absolutely, dear.
What are we stealing from?
If you'd like to come to...
You're just,
I was gonna say, Soot, we did pretty well in that first shop we encountered. I wouldn't mind going with you again if you want to come to the temple after.
So it immediately perks up because that was a lot of fun. I would like to do that again. To be honest, I've never. Usually, it's just me doing these things, and it was a lot of fun doing it with someone else, and I kind of want to do that again.
Game. I bet I could make a good song come out of this, regardless of how well you do.
I have no doubt in your skills, Lori. You've definitely thrown quite a show so far.
Yeah, for second shortest, you've done amazingly with the songs.
Shortest. Miss Full Pint.
I still don't get why you guys want to be shorter.
Come with us
Easier
to
to
the
suck
House
around.
Palu, and you might find out.
So that's the
Well-
temple, right?
Nah, it's
That's
the
building. Here, I'll pull up that map for you guys again. It's here. Let me just pull you all over to here. Back to here.
As everyone's talking amongst themselves and figuring out plans, Azizi, now no longer talking to Kibo, and the glow in her eyes sort of calms down. She
So-
suddenly notices Ash across the table and kind of wiggles a bit.
Okay. So that's the temple.
The one
Is
with
that...
the blue roof is the one with the temple. Is on the very north edge of the map. The house
Okay.
that the break-in and entering must occur is these two jointed houses up here. From what
these?
you were told, yes, those two.
Okay.
And the place that you guys are currently in is where everybody dragged their characters. So
Can you drag Russ?
Russ is in the bookstore.
yes, Russ
Which
would actually be
is-
Oh, right.
here, across the street from the house that.
In one of the Shergold houses.
Yes.
And that's the Fighters Guild below the Mages Guild to the west. Is that correct?
Yes.
Of where Russ is.
Do we want to go tonight, or do we want to rest for now?
Oh,
I know we're fully
sorry,
rested
high-end
already.
The
what time
high-end
is it?
tavern. It's about mid-afternoon, early evening at this point, so I'd say about
Okay.
4 or 5 p.m.
I think we have time to scope out this place. It would be a trust me, based off of prior experience that may or may not have landed me in that jail cell. It is not a good idea to rush into a rich people's place without scoping out the area first. So maybe not tonight.
Well, if we
But you
do
still
some
have
investigation.
I was gonna
while
say
this-
you do still have a good amount of daylight left, so
It's afternoon, so it's like
Ah, right.
sun is high in the sky. Why not at least check the place out? See what we can find out while it's still bright.
And we don't have to knock it over tonight. We can start getting our information and maybe come back tomorrow and get more
course.
information.
Okay. Let's do it.
you guys are all gonna
Do-
scope it out.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to need investigation checks from everybody.
Is the paladin joining us?
Yeah, it's the daytime. A paladin wants to walk the streets. Paladin is more than welcome to walk the streets.
So we're all going up
Okay.
here, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'll
Remember
join
just
in and
zip past everyone.
I'll join in and scoping the place out.
Yeah, that's. Hey, you know what? You never know what you might be able to see. One person might miss something.
Investigation.
So
Everyone
more of
misses
a
it.
close their eyes and steal kind of person.
12.
Apparently so am I.
And a 12.
Lori's the
So-
only
This
one.
sucks.
Unfortunately, Azizi, you've been distracted by several birds along the way.
Including Ash.
Not to mention you're trying really hard because you do know that you are in the richer part of this neighborhood. It is very prominent with high-standing members
Jeez.
of this elven household. So you are trying to keep your composure and keep your mask on, keep your ears tucked in, keep your tail not moving. That's understandable. So you've been noticing that you're getting a lot of stares from people because what is this dirty little urchin doing here? So you don't really feel comfortable scouting out this building. Ember, with your 12, I'm gonna say that you do notice up from outside there doesn't appear to be any security. You do notice that there does appear to be a lot of servants going from the smaller house to the bigger house. They seem to be just carrying things. It appears that there's a cellar underneath the servant's house. You just sort of notice they kind of dip in and around and then they come and bring stuff in. Now for the 21, I'm going to say, Ash, you kind of decided to take a look from above. Now, You didn't notice any guards, but you certainly noticed there is a lot of people who just seem to be important looking. They walk around, they kind of just glance back and forth. None of them have seemed to notice any of your group. But one does look up at you and sees you flying around the house and kind of perks an eyebrow up, but doesn't think anything of it. You're small enough and high up enough in the air that you just kind of look like a circling bird. Lori, with a 22 of investigation, I'm gonna say that you just kind of marvel at everything. You just become the center of attention, and you just start chatting with some of the servants as they walk to and from. They seem to recognize the music you're playing as you walk by them. They just very much will start telling you things. They're like, yeah, it's the master of the house is away right now,
Really? Is
but
this
there is still all the servants here, and he does entertain guests, and there is his family. He is just away for the evening, checking on
do
some of his more expensive investments.
you know when he'll be back?
At this point, he's about a day and a half travel from the town. So, depending on when he leaves, he might be back tomorrow, midday, early evening tomorrow. At this point, one of them is just kind of like they kind of sheepishly are looking at you like, could we get an autograph maybe?
Of course. I scrawl my my name down for them.
And at that point, they kind of hold it close to their chest, and they just kind of giddily walk away, and they go back into the servants' quarters.
Ember just sighs. Oh, she's never gonna live this one down, is she?
Never gonna let you forget it. So I turn to some of the other servants. Are you all treated fairly well here, or?
Oh yes, everybody here is paid incredibly well. The house takes care of us. Most of us, we only choose to live in the servants' quarters simply because it is such a nice.
All right. So I'm gonna. Please excuse me for one moment. I'll need to talk to the rest of my entourage. Thank you. So I relay this information to the rest of the group. So, dear, do you know exactly what we are supposed to be looking for? We may have an inn here, and the master of the house is away, so the timing could be right.
Soot definitely remembers what the alcohol type was. I do not. It was the northern honey liquor?
Yep, it was a northern honeyed liquor.
Okay.
I'd rather lick my southern honey, sorry.
So, yeah, it's apparently the house has a large collection of northern honey liquor, which is very expensive. And the guild doesn't like that they have it. So, my guess is it would probably be in some sort of a wine cellar.
So, does Lori know how many people are kind of occupying around the place, even though the master's gone?
Yeah, I'll say with the 22 that they rolled, that yes, they were told that there is a full staff of servants. They're occupying every floor of the house. Plus, there is the servant didn't refer to them as guards, more so as the enforcers of the house, the ones who make sure that nothing happens away.
You cut out a little bit, but I think we got the gist of what you said.
Oh, did everybody hear me?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Servants on every floor. Master of the house is away. Returns tomorrow midday, something like that.
Yep. There's also
kind of
the servants
personal
have mentioned
security.
that they're personal, yeah, like a personal security that does occupy the place. The servants didn't mention anything about where in the house, just that in the main house there is this security.
So if the master of the house is away, then yeah, tonight might be a good opportunity for us.
Should we scope around? Just kind of make like we're just on a casual stroll and get a look at the place.
I could go up to one of the servants and say, okay, my friends here, they help me with our performance, and we've been traveling, and we've been trying to find the perfect venue for my next big performance. I've got a lot of new material I've been working on. This place is beautiful, and you seem to know all the ins and outs and have a great appreciation for it. Maybe you've got some ideas on where the acoustics would be best, and could you give us a bit of a tour so that we can kind of learn from this and maybe use it for an upcoming performance?
Roll deception.
Not charisma?
No, just deception. For 13, they kind of they want to say yes. They look at you. They have these wide eyes. They're well, we can't really say give. You'd have to speak with the master of the house when he gets home. I'm sure he would absolutely love to have a bard such as yourself perform in his home, but unfortunately, he is away at the moment. I do know that they love to entertain.
Did you say that some of the family is around? Could we maybe speak with them? And I'd love to learn more about your master as well, so I could kind of, since you said he loves being entertained, I could maybe pick a song or two that kind of matches his aura, his presence.
Again, the servant does kind of give the can't really. You'd have to probably get an invitation, and they just start getting very nervous, and they're just. During this, I will say, you do notice there are still servants who are running from the servant's home to the main house. Even some that seem to be running around to the back of the home.
Can I insight check to see kind of what her holdup is? Like, what's the mental block keeping her from saying yes?
Sure.
Let me pull up my thing. Hang on. I rolled an 8. I know I add stuff to that.
Yep.
There. Insight. 8 plus 6, so 14.
14? From what you can tell, it's just the servant doesn't want to speak on behalf of their master. Like, as far as you know, they're just a house. They just tend to the house. They're no more than a butler.
Okay.
So a butler really wouldn't want to be introducing people to their employer all willy-nilly unless...
Right. I walk up next to Lori, and I just sort of smile down at the servant, and I say, well, we really don't need to see the main house. Maybe you could show us around where you stay. It'd be a good introduction. And I look at Lori, I say, don't you think? And then I look back at the servant.
Definitely would need to start somewhere.
Yeah, persuasion for that.
Something I'm not good at, I'm sure. Oh, I'm proficient, so I guess that's something.
Learn
God
something
damn
about
it.
yourself today.
Natural 1
Oh, no.
for a total of 4.
Oh no.
At that point, they're just kind of confused by the question. They're, are you looking to get a job? You want to be hired? I would think that kind of thing would be above a paladin such as yourself. They look at the armor, they see the weapons, and they're a little bit confused by that question. Like,
Well,
why would
maybe
you want
not
to see
as
around the servants' quarters?
maybe not as a butler, but I have done some sellsword work before.
Azizi's just gonna chuckle in the back a little at Ember.
You did say that there is private security here, maybe an extra arm for hire.
At this point, they would. I unfortunately, I don't know anything about that. That would be the mass. Like, also, he's very restrictive of kind of who works for him. It's mostly just elves. At that point, they just kind of scurry off because they've realized that they've spent so much time just standing and talking when they've noticed that the security up on the roof have kind of just looked down at them talking to this group of people.
With my passive perception, would I notice security on the roof?
Yes, you would have
Okay.
definitely noticed that they're just sort of like standing up there, just kind of keeping an eye on the servants coming to and from. There appears to be one facing the front of the house, one on the back end of the house. They don't look like much. They more or less look like they're just very well dressed. Almost, you can't see any weapons or anything like that visible with them.
So no, we don't see any weapons?
No, they don't appear to have any weapons from what you can notice on the ground.
But we
Interesting.
definitely know that they're security.
Yes.
Okay. Look up and
Yeah.
smile and wave, and then start to walk off a little bit towards the side of the house.
I make the tips of my fingers catch fire and yell towards the servant. It's a shame. She's really into pyrotechnics.
At this point, the servant has gone into the main house.
Come on, hot stuff. Let's go.
Okay.
And I take it at this point you guys would like to wait until nightfall?
So it's kind of looking around the edges of the house to see what entrances are available.
All right. Roll stealth.
I will do the same.
Wow.
Yes! Finally!
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so from what you've noticed, you've just done a complete circle before anybody has noticed that you've even left. You've completely lapped both buildings. And nobody even, somebody was still talking to you at this point, and you looked down and you were gone. When you come back, what you have noticed from circling the property, you did notice that there was more than just the two on the roof. You did notice there was a lot of very tall windows on the main house. Some only open windows you can spot were on the second floor. But you did notice that there was a locked cellar behind the servants' quarters that leads clearly down.
Can you ping where?
Of course. Oh wait, that's the shape. It would be right here. All you
Okay.
could tell was it looks like it leads downwards. It's away from the main building here. You did notice that on this round section of the roof there was a guard, and at every corner of this diamond shape there is another guard. But you
Are
did
there as
notice
many
that there's-
guards on the servants' building?
There are no guards on the servants' building, you've noticed. It appears that the only thing that's really guarding the servants' building is what they can see here, but then that's it.
Okay. So, question for and Soot turns to the others around her after returning and probably giving them a big spook because she was suddenly behind them again. So do we think that the
Yeah, don't
alcohol's
do that.
being kept? He's just momentarily lost her words. I'm sorry?
Sneaky. You scared me. Go ahead.
Big bad paladin. Okay. Do we think the alcohol is being kept in the main house or the servants' corridors? Because I definitely saw a cellar going down in the servants' quarters. And I mean, you usually keep alcohol in the cellar.
Sota makes a good point. Might we try going and checking that out when it's darker and the servants are in bed, since there are so many of them?
There's also less guards that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, and they did say that no security is stationed in that building,
Mm-hmm.
so it should be fairly clear.
so no harm in checking.
Do we know the races of the guards on the roof?
Yes, they appear to be elves. They look dark-skinned, similar to the skin tone of the guards in the city that you've seen.
Okay. So they'd be
have
able to
like-
spot us pretty easily at night.
Potentially, yes.
Are the servants
So do we want?
all elves as well?
Yes. However, they appear to be shorter in stature. and have a much more tanned complexions. They appear to be a lot of wood elves.
Do we
And
want to
maybe-
try and
maybe
look
even
now?
a few half elves sprinkled in there. But you can definitely tell from all of their ears that yes, they are all of elf lineage.
Hey, Soot. You want to check it out now?
Do you think we can? I mean, there's a lot of people there up on the other roof.
Well, would you rather go at night?
Uh, I actually don't know which one would be the best way to.
Well, it depends. Are you planning on a really loud break and entering, or be a bit stealthier for this
What?
approach?
No, we're gonna be stealthy,
Stealthy,
of course.
stealthy for
Be a little
sure.
more stealthy.
So
I was the simple nudge of, well, the dark does help have a lot of cover.
and I've got a couple ways that I can enhance cover, so to say, but it's probably better if it's nighttime.
What time is it now, DM?
I would say it's about 6 p.m. dinner time. You know, it is the summer. I will remind you that it is the summer. The sun is still quite high in the sky.
Does everyone want to get a quick rest to make sure that we're all ready for this?
I mean, we're still rested, aren't we? We haven't done anything except for Russ getting dropped on his butt.
a couple.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well,
Done a
it
couple
would
of
probably take
things.
us short.
yeah.
A little
So it would
short
probably
rest.
do something to.
Back to the tavern then?
That's actually going to find a tree to sit under, and just meditate for
Natural
a bit.
recovery.
All right, during your short
That's
rest, you can
cool.
choose to expend spell slots to cover the spell slots have been combined low. Yeah, of course.
I think it's just to regain the one spell slot that she used to detect magic.
Yeah, of course. I will say that you do notice that there are some trees just a little bit nearby. And if you want
Close to the temple, it looks like.
Yep, there are some there. There's also some along the edge of the river.
Huh? So it's gonna kind of wander up towards the temple and sit under the tree.
Perfect.
Can I scope out the library just structurally for like if it would give us any vantage point over the other house?
The bookstore across the street that Russ is currently in?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Don't get caught graffitiing, Ember.
Let's see. Would that be investigation?
Yeah, if you just want to take a look in the inside of that. I'll do
The
investigation.
the outside structure.
Oh, just the outside?
Yeah.
You know what? I won't even. It's just a simple building. It's got a little bit of a rounded glass, almost observatory room that you can see from the outside. Actually, when you look in through the store windows, you can see the sign hanging above it that has this octopus in a stack of papers and books, just as it was described to you. When you look in, you can see Russ just frantically poring over stacks of books and combing through shelves, while a very amused-looking shopkeeper who's got bluish skin. He appears to also have webbed ears, from what it looks like. Kind of almost aquatic in color.
Okay.
But he just looks so pleased to see Russ just poring over all these shelves. He's pulling down books, trying to help him find whatever he's...
Okay.
You
is
cut
the-
out a bit there.
Here, give me 1 second. Maybe I can fix that.
I know, I realize I cut out a bit too.
Yeah, it's a dang Canadian internet. Is the bookstore taller than the other house? Is there roof access to it?
It does appear to be just a one-story building, but it does have that tall glass reading room / observatory.
Okay.
Other than that, it looks pretty mundane. It's just a simple shop.
So if it came to a battle of bows, there's no way of getting up there to return fire against the house.
You would have to climb the
Oh.
outside of the building to get to the roof.
Okay.
And I don't think you have spider climb.
I don't.
That's a
Oh,
warlock spell.
I love describing spider climb to people.
Since Azizi has kind of gone to sit under the tree with Soot and is so close to the temple, can I roll to kind of peek in any of the windows? I assume there's like big stained glass
Oh
windows.
yeah,
that I can
there's
peek
absolutely
behind.
massive windows.
I wanna. What kind of roll do I do to inspect, like, the kinds of folk inside?
Simple perception.
And I'm looking for like holy symbols that they would have on their clothes if I roll well.
Yep.
It's a good call.
Son of a bitch.
You've noticed that the windows around the outside all appear to be made out of stained glass, so you can't really see anything into them. You do notice, however, that the windows are dark, as if there might not be anybody in. Roll an investigation.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
You don't hear anything inside. The lights are dark. You don't really get a feel like anybody's in there. If you want to check the front door, you're more than welcome to. I'll allow that. For no roll.
Azizi's feeling a little dulled, probably from the alcohol she drank in the bar earlier. Just kind of stomps over towards the front. So I'll be right back, dear. I just want to take a peek in this temple.
And you try the door? It's locked.
It's mid-afternoon. Why would this temple be closed?
You're not.
Can I roll an arcane check on the door?
Of course, it's just appears to be regularly locked, though.
It is? Like with a bolt and stuff? Like visible lock?
Yep.
Okay, never mind then. I'll walk back over to Soot and just mention, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but despite it being midday, well, early evening or mid-afternoon, this temple is closed. Doesn't that strike you a bit odd?
Is it still actively meditating, or would her meditation be done?
I would say just at this time, you're just kind of communing with nature. You're just sort of enjoying the animal sounds, the wind in the trees.
Oh, well then, never mind. Azizi will kind of keep it to herself while the others are doing their thing. Just kind of sit beside Soot.
I just imagine that all the little, like, any sort of little tiny animals in the area, like mice or little birds, are just kind of accumulating nearby. They're just sort of like seeing Soot just sit there under the tree and just kind of coming up closer. Kind of just, like nothing's. Like, it seems very peaceful and very serene.
The turkey sandwich probably also helped.
Wiggle.
Yeah, you might between the full pint of liquor and the turkey sandwich, you're probably gonna have a nap until the.
I see the birds and wiggle.
Oh, I am. I would say it right up until you said wiggle. Constitution.
Wiggle, wiggle. Were you earlier, 15?
For that, I'm gonna say it's up to you. Do you keep control on yourself, or did you want to playfully try to bat at the birds?
I am, well, keeping my wiggle to a minimum as, although we're under a tree, who knows if anyone walking by will see. I'll just kind of slowly reach one paw out and just kind of bat at one bird and then pull back quickly.
All right, I want sleight of hand.
Don't kill the bird.
It's still gonna have to rescue another bird.
You're concentrating right now.
Meteor Moss, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody.
Ah.
Sleight of hand. You literally just sort of bap this bird, and it just kind of like looks around all startled, like it doesn't know what happened. It's completely like tweet. All you know is you
Azizi's-
just swat at this bird right up on its tail feathers, and it just kind of like leaped forward.
Azizi's gonna perk and sit all nice posture like, and just kind of bat her tail happily and fold her ears back like, nope, nothing's wrong.
Be all proud of yourself for the moment.
The slight purring starts.
Wonderful.
While all that's
Alright, so I'm gonna
happening,
say
Ember just looks over at Lori and goes, "You know, I could probably throw you up to that roof."
Don't you dare. That is very
Yeah, no.
high.
Don't you want to?
I was gonna say, like, you want to split the party that way?
Don't you want to be a
Or I
rising
could
star?
sing I Believe I Can Fly.
I'm like a bird, only fly away. Oh.
I will definitely say with that, you all feel very invigorated from the little jaunt of a tune. But while you were all taking a short rest waiting for nightfall, I am just going to quickly say I'm just going to take a quick break just so I can refill my water, and then we'll get into the night situation of what's going on.
Break time.
Are you feeling
Just for a
alright
quick
to continue all that?
I'm down.
I think I'm close to ending right now. Sorry.
Then
Had a couple things come up, so.
sounds good.
Okay,
I've probably got another.
Understandable.
I've probably got another like half hour before I need to dip. So, we're
Alright,
gonna lose
well,
half our
if that's-
party.
I was going to say, if that's the case, did you guys want to call it here just before the nightfall?
We could.
Yeah,
I'm good with.
I mean,
I'm okay with that.
I'm good with.
And then
It
next
has-
week we can do the break-in and potentially also check out that sketchy temple.
Whatever.
Yeah?
The oh so dark temple that is not open despite it being early evening almost.
All right. Well, then we're going to end it there with
Feel
you guys.
kind of bad I
all
haven't
just
been
kinda
able to do
sitting under
much, but
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Bad internet. It's the thing.
blasted internet.
Hopefully it'll be better for next week, and then we can get
It
Ash.
should be.
going wild all wild magic in like the cellar of some rich person's house. This is gonna end poorly.
No, gosh dang it! I cursed the internet. It's going out again.
Oh no.
No.
All right, guys. So it was a great session,
Oh,
and yeah,
check.
That
we'll
was
cut it here so
fantastic.
that way people can get some. And I can't wait to see what you guys get into next week.
Oh yeah.
Neither can
Yeah.
I. This has
Nice.
been a lot
Next
of fun.
week.
Oh, I've got a lot of things planned.
I was fully convinced that it was gonna end up kidnapped after I got that 2 on an insight check. Not gonna lie.
Next week, Beanie.
You weren't the
Alright.
only one worried about that.
Oh no.
Considering who found you and who was waiting. Mother instinct, I swear.
Thanks everybody for watching. See y'all
Yep.
next week.
Glad to have you all here. Okay, see you next week. Let's see if there's
Yeah.
anybody we can raid out to.